Says my regular, I'm talking things for better now. Oh, things for better now. Ooh, way better. Oh, says my regular, I'm talking things for better now. Oh, Says my regular, I'm talking things for better now. Oh, things for better now. Ooh, way better. Oh, says my regular, I'm talking things for better now. Oh, things for better now. Says my regular, I'm talking things for better now. Oh, things for better now. Way better. Says my regular, I'm talking. Way better. Says my regular, I'm talking things for better now. Oh, things for better now. Ooh, way better. Says my regular, I'm talking things for better now. Oh, says my regular, I'm talking things for better now. Oh, things for better now. Ooh, way better. Says my regular, I'm talking things for better now. Oh, things for better now. I my regular. I'm talking takes me better now. Oh, takes me better now. Way better now. Takes my regular. I'm talking. Way better now. Takes my regular. I'm talking. Takes me better now. Oh, takes me better now. Way better now. Takes my regular. I'm talking. Takes me better now. Oh, Takes my regular, I'm talking, takes me better now. Oh, takes me better now. Oh, way better now. Takes my regular, I'm talking, takes me better now. Oh, takes me better
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's check the mic, y'all. Let's check the mic. What am I sounding like? Good morning, Trey.
Hey.
Hey, baby Patty. How are you?
I think I'm Grayson.
Oh, hello, Grace.
Baby Penny.
I'm Grayson.
Baby Penny.
Daddy, I'm Grayson.
Chico Lord.
Good morning,
You're
Grayson. Tell her call it. Now, you know she don't like
You
it.
what?
I'll be in your life.
You gonna be in my live?
Yeah.
It's not my live, it's Truth Live.
I'll be in your life. I don't feel like being with Sloop.
Somebody feels better.
Yes,
You.
do. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Happy
You're
Thursday.
smoking the joint.
What she said? What she said?
Since you was gonna throw something of mine in the garbage, I ain't no telling.
Throw it away, girl. Throw it away. What the hell is E-Brook? Trey, what you do, E-Brooks? What? Check my mic.
People.
She out frolicking with NFL players, she said.
No, she ain't. Man, Ann, how I sound, man, Ann? Man, Ann said, check your mic. How am I sounding, Miss Ann? Trey, drop
Like
it,
snap, crackle, and pop.
For Don't tell me that. Not this morning.
Yep.
People.
Snap, crackle, and popping.
Oh God.
Yeah. Do it.
Okay, hold on, y'all. Yeah, I've been doing good. Let's see. Mm. Let's see. I am snap, crackle, and pop. Wow. I don't know why. I ain't did nothing different.
I don't know why my mute button don't work. It's on, but it don't work. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello.
So my mute button is on. What the hell? This is ridiculous.
Hello. People. Want to see my daddy? Trying to talk to you people.
Why you trying to take over the show, Grace? Ain't nobody think. What's up?
I wanted to make them hear you.
They can hear me.
Why they're not talking?
Because they're in the chat room. That's why they're not talking.
Talk and stop being in the chat room.
They're not on the show. They're watching it.
They're supposed to be on it.
No, they're not.
Yes, they're supposed to be there.
No, they're not.
They're supposed to.
How do you know?
I'm smarter than you.
You smarter than me. Says who? You're 4.
But yes, I am. But I know how to play Mapping better than you.
Oh, you gonna do that? Yes, I can hear you. You gonna do that? Yes, I can hear you.
Am I tapping?
Oh, wait.
Right all over the place. Y'all let me know in the chat what I'm sounding like.
Yeah, I can hear you. My mic started messing up. I can hear you.
Oh my God, today.
Yeah, I can hear you. Let's see. Say something else.
I'm saying something. You not listening.
My mic was messing up. The headphones weren't plugged up.
Oh, I'm talking fast, Miss Ann. Oh,
yeah, it's still the chop up. But see, this is why you don't let kids win at games, because they'll throw it in your face. Her comeback was, I can play matching better than you.
Okay, let me see something.
Don't try to give me.
Look like an angel. Oh, I thank you.
All right. So what am I doing, y'all? What am I doing?
The same.
Damn it, man.
But it
I
don't do that when you playing audio. When you play audio, it never does that. It just do it when you talk.
Right when I talk.
It's snap, crackle, pop. You eating Rice Krispies this morning, True?
God. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, she like 36-0 in matching yours, True. I ain't won a game. I have not won one game of match yet. Let me know I'm getting old. My brain ain't as sharp as it used to be. It's just remembering.
If I smile it, I'm going back to school now.
No, the same.
No.
Okay, what is
The
same.
I hate you.
I don't know.
Stupid daddy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't change. No, it's just some days I come on here and it's
Stupid daddy.
and sometimes I come on here and it's bad.
People, my guy's stinky.
That's why good morning. I'm sounding bad, slave. Look my shit.
Well, you got to sing a song, Truth, so we can test your mic.
Let it go.
That's the only way we'll know if it works, Truth. You got to sing.
I'm not singing no damn song.
you interrupted, baby?
Let it
I still
go.
sound bad.
Let it go. It's a whole back
Yes.
and forth. Eat baby patty white.
I thought you were Baby Petty. Is that you made your own remix?
And the grace is white. That's what.
It's Grace's Live that Ebrooks the Truth. You just took over.
I'm
about
the
that,
purple girl. It's like,
No, it's still the same. True. It's still the same.
no. I'll fight you, Dad.
I don't know what
And now it's going. Now you got the service going in and out now.
I can see
No,
Because at first it was just the snap, crackle, and pop. Now you going in and out.
In and out
My
how?
wife. That.
It was like a signal thing.
My wife, Daddy.
Service. You know how when the internet be acting up.
Okay, so what about now?
Yeah. What about now? Still 7
I met ya.
You was really
Yeah.
cut up.
Shut up, B. Don't like you. It's my life. It's a true life. Who life is it?
I guess it's your life.
It's your life.
It's not
All
my
right, Chad,
life.
what y'all hearing? Chad, y'all
Not
hearing
mine. It's not yours. It's not mine. It's true life.
Somebody said maybe it'll clear up as you go, but it's the part of the course.
Yeah.
You're doing too much, man.
I don't understand. I definitely want to see this damn mic back. Because I don't understand.
Still under warranty, may as well. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. As y'all see that there's a little technical difficulties
It really should be
going on.
doing it. It should be going. It should be. Sometimes I come on as good. Sometimes I come on as bad. It should be doing it. That's crazy.
Mhm. It could have got dropped a couple times in transit.
Especially when I don't change anything. Like I don't change anything from day to day. It just sits here, pissing me off. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long day. This baby's nuts. She won't stop twerking because she's
Okay.
getting irritation.
Okay, I cut the endo cancellation off. What it sound like now?
You got really, really good. But now there's an echo between you and I. So cut your mic level down some.
Okay, how about now? I don't hear
Now you
no.
still clear. Okay, I don't hear that. It's gone now. Oh, no, it's back. But I ain't gonna be talking, so it don't matter.
Oh, okay, so but I don't hear no echo. Chat, let me know if y'all hear echo when Trey talk. Say something, Trey.
It might just be on my end. Yeah, I definitely hear that. Now it just stopped. Nope.
What? What's that?
Yeah, it's probably only on my end when I hear the echo back, but it's not an echo technically, it's me playing myself back. I hear it. But that's fine though. I'm not gonna have too much to say. Work your shit.
Okay, all right. Thank you, E. Bruce. Okay, so the chat, y'all hear me good. Y'all hear me good. Okay, maybe I have to keep my echo cancellation on. I don't know, but we're here, y'all. We're here. Happy Saturday, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for joining. Trey is echoing. Okay, me doing it. Thank you. Thank y'all so much for joining this morning. Please feel free to support the channel. Please hit the like button if you don't mind. All right, I really appreciate it. I was gonna do a mic check, but a lot of y'all don't showed up, so not a mic check. I'm sorry, but Roll call. I can still do it though. Good morning, yours truly. Hey, Miss Carla. Hope all is well, Miss Carla, with your fam bam. Let me know. Let me know. Hey, Miss Dorothy. Um, good morning, Mad. Hey, Miss Ann. Hey, Avila. Good morning, Sirius. Happy birthday again, Miss Sirius. Yes, Miss Sirius. It's her birthday weekend. It's my birthday. Hey, Miss Margie.
You ignored me last night too, asked you a damn question. And as soon as I said, True must be asleep. But as soon as the music started playing, your ass dropped down. You wasn't asleep.
Wait a minute, hold on. Say that again. Say it again, Trey.
You had ignored me last night, pretending to be asleep. I had asked you a question and you ain't say
Uh-huh.
nothing. So I assumed you was asleep. But as soon as the music played to go out, you left. Was asleep,
Yeah.
you ignored me. You're a
Yeah, but I
bad
did.
coworker.
Yeah, but I did doze off. But this is the thing. It's really, really funny, Trey. Even if I doze off doing the live, when you play the exit music, it wakes me up. Now, what did you ask me? What you asked me?
Nigga, I don't remember. That was last night.
Oh God. Jeez Louise. Let me finish my roll call. Hey, my slave. See who else I may have missed. My E Brooks. Hey E Brooks. Your book's out for, whatever. Doing whatever she do. Hey Mika. Good morning. Hey Treadmill. Hey Missy Lou. Hey Miss Lynn. I hope you're having a beautiful day too, sweetie. Listen. So we're gonna get into the continuation of this trial. We are on a mission, y'all. We gotta get through this. We gotta get through this trial. I'm looking for my phone bill. She hasn't showed up yet. She could be sleeping in because she's had a long week. But we got Trey, we got Baby Petty. Baby Petty on 10. Trey, what time she woke
8 o'clock.
up? Y'all. The Truth may tap in. I'm not for sure because he got some things going on, but he may tap in. If not, he'll be back soon. He'll be back soon, but he got some things going on. But anywho, let's get in. And he's traveling, so y'all make sure the Truth have safe travels and everything of that nature. You know that's our brother, and they mad. But anywho, let's get into the continuation from yesterday's testimony, okay? Thank you to everyone that support these lives. I really, 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 really do appreciate it, okay? And y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. Hold on one second. Trey.
There was no plea deal.
Okay, but that live was really good. I really hate I dozed off. So, okay, what you mean there was no plea deal? What you talking about?
That's what he kept saying last night. So I just.
And how old was that live last night? Like how old was that live that you did?
A day ago.
He said,
Well, he said there was no plea deal. Yes, a day ago, but 2 months ago, everybody seen his Zoom shit. That's why it was funny.
Are you gonna continue to cover that?
I got a few more videos of it, and then we're moving on to another guy that's just like him, the Rashard Jamal guy.
Right. Now, let me ask you this. Are the Rashard guy and him like connected? Because I don't know anything about these people.
As far as I know, I don't think that they are. Like, I've just heard of this guy. I've been knowing him polite for a minute now. Like,
damn, I hate that dozed off. Tony said he tried to wake me up and I gave him a look and he just stopped.
Let me cut my echo cancellation off to see if it works.
Okay. I'm really intrigued by the polite guy. I'm intrigued. He got an echo.
I said he's smart, but he weird in the motherfucker.
Yeah, he is weird. A lot of weird people are smart.
I'm Don't we know now. It? Got a female Rain Man fucking with me.
Right. Oh Lord. I'm intrigued though, and I've been like on my timeline. I've been seeing stuff come up about him. I just didn't know what the deal was because I've never heard of him. Hey, Funberry, good to see you. Let me drop my link in case Fun wants to come up. Anybody else that wants to come up, you're welcome. Anybody, you're so welcome to come up. All right, y'all, we're gonna get into this continuation with you. Huh?
Yep, still damn echo.
Maybe I should cut mine back on. Let me see if I.
But does my mute work though? Is my mute working?
Yeah.
No. No, it's not, because you said yes. So it's not. Damn it, the mute don't work. I'm talking about the microphone built-in mute. I'm supposed to push the red button. It's supposed to be silent.
Okay, tell me what I sound like right now.
You sound fine, and I don't have the echo anymore.
I cut the echo cancellation.
Shut up.
All right, so we good. We good. Y'all let me know if it messes up again. Okay, so let's get into it, y'all. We're not. I think another detective is coming up. I'm not for sure, but let's see.
During that bench conference, Mr. Freeze stated more of his objections, specifically that submitting the exhibit as it was presented would be in violation of one of the court's previous court rulings, pretrial rulings, and additionally that the officer was not the author of the warrant. During that conversation, then the county attorney, Ms. Cunningham, stated she just wished to elicit a response that information that was provided by Officer Tharp was utilized within the warrant, and the court ruled that that question could be asked, but the exhibit would not be admitted if he had any further objections, and he stated no. Is that a fair summary, Ms. Cunningham?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed, Ms. Cunningham.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Corporal Joshua Stocking to the stand.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Yes, I do. Please have a seat.
Name for the record and spell your last name.
It's Joshua Stocking, S-T-O-C-K,
With.
City of Davenport.
How long have you been employed with the Davenport Police Department?
Going on 21 years.
Describe your educational background.
Bachelor's degree in law enforcement. I also attended the Iowa Law Enforcement Academy, along with a field training program here at Davenport.
And throughout the course of your career, have you been actively involved in ongoing training involving various aspects of the law enforcement work that you perform?
Yes.
In what capacities have you served the department?
I have served the Patrol Division. I've served in a division called NETS. I've served in the Property Crimes Division within the Detective Bureau. I've served in the Special Victims Unit within the Detective Bureau. I've also served in the Warrant Division, and I'm now currently assigned to Major Case.
Okay. How long have you been with the Davenport Police Department?
Almost 21 years.
As of July of 2020, which of those units were you assigned to?
I was in the Property Crimes Division.
Were you involved in some capacity with an investigation that was initiated on July 10th that came about as a result of a child by the name of Breasia Terrell who was reported to be missing?
Yes.
What was the date of your initial involvement?
The initial date, July 10th.
Okay. Now, just to set the stage, there was a call made to the department at 8:29 a.m. in the morning that communications specialist Mona Varela would have taken with patrol being dispatched out to a given location. What location was patrol dispatched out to?
To the apartment complex on 53rd Street.
Okay. Is that the Jersey Meadows apartment complex?
Correct.
At some point then was
If it seems like they're talking fast, y'all, it's because I got it sped up a little bit. At any point, if y'all can't understand what they're saying, let me know. But I've got it sped up a little bit.
the Detective Bureau contacted and a request made for additional manpower.
Yes.
Were you a part of the team from the Detective Bureau that responded out to the Jersey Meadow apartment complex?
Yes.
Describe then what your involvement would have been out there during July 10th.
My involvement would have been the canvass of the surrounding area of the apartment complex, looking for videos and any witnesses that may have seen where Briasia had left.
Now, explain why you were looking for video surveillance cameras.
Just trying to catch her on videos to get a direction of travel, to see if we could see her walking, running, to see if a car picked her up, anything that would give us a lead.
Okay. With that being said, how broad a search was conducted out in that area to see if there were residences or businesses that had video surveillance equipment attached to the physical structures for either?
It was numerous blocks.
Numerous blocks.
Yeah.
All right. And then if there was a business that was noted to have a video surveillance camera or cameras affixed to the outside of the business, did a law enforcement officer make contact with a representative of the store?
Yes.
If there was a video surveillance camera noted to be fixed to the outside structure of any residence in that area of town, did an officer make contact with the that was made either to employees of businesses or residents of homes?
We would request to review their video footage.
Okay. Was there quite a bit of video surveillance footage that was collected from that area of town?
Yes.
Describe then how that process was handled as far as the review.
That initial incident, like the initial day?
No, we're just talking
In general?
Yeah, just very generally about the video surveillance feed. Whenever we seized video surveillance feed, what was the process that was followed by the Davenport Police Department?
So we would download it onto a USB or a disk, and then we would transport it to the station where it's turned over to someone to be viewed. After it's viewed, it's then placed in evidence.
Okay. Were there individuals at the department who were doing an initial review of all of the videos that were seized throughout the course of this investigation?
Yes.
For the individuals that were doing this review, were these officers who were active in community policing, or were they on some type of light duty status?
The ones I'm familiar with were on light duty status.
And then when they went through and did a review, were there parameters that were provided to them as far as information about suspects of interest or an individual of interest?
Yes.
Vehicles of interest?
Yes.
Any characteristics associated with vehicles of interest?
Yes.
And even descriptors about Briasia Terrell and what she looked like?
Yes.
Once that initial stage of review took place then, was that documented in some way to be reviewed further by a lead case detective?
Yes.
Who was our lead detective in this particular case?
Detective Obert.
Okay, and then would he have gone back and then reviewed any video surveillance that was flagged as having something that may be relevant?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what I'd like to do is I want to focus on July 10th so that we've got a perspective of how extensive the search was done out there on 53rd. You talked about looking for video surveillance footage.
Yes.
Would that have included yourself and many other officers?
Correct.
Okay. And then define for us what you mean by a canvass was conducted.
So I was paired up with Detective Errol Walker, and we were tasked with knocking on doors, going door to door with a photo of Briasia. We were looking for A, any witnesses that may have seen her leaving, and B, if there's any video cameras that we could view to see if we get a direction of travel. So we were going door to door on foot.
Okay. Were you only one such team that was doing that?
There was multiple teams.
Okay. And so by virtue of that, was that area of town divided up into sections with teams being deployed to those two different sections of town?
Yes, Sergeant Cole-Glazier had divided us up in teams into certain areas and wanted us to search them.
Okay. States Exhibit number 38. Look at States Exhibit 38. And then once you've had an opportunity to orient yourself to what's depicted on this diagram that would be relevant to the discussion that I'm going to have with you, let me know. And if it would help Corporal Stocking to go down and just look closer at the exhibit, feel free to do so.
Yeah. Let me take a look here. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Define for us then how extensive the canvass was by just identifying neighborhoods that were covered and the locations of those neighborhoods relative to the apartment complex at Jersey Meadows.
You want me to talk about the ones being Detective Walker did?
Yeah, and then additionally, just other areas. I mean, we could bring in officers all day long to talk about
Right.
that, but we're trying to be more certain.
53rd Street down to 46th from Elmore all the way over to Jersey.
Okay, all right. Now, what areas were you and Detective Walker canvassing?
We canvassed Lorton, which Jersey Meadows, as you come out of Jersey Meadows South, there's a stoplight there. If you continue through the stoplight, it turns into Lorton. So we did Lorton all the way down to 51st. We did 51st, and then all the way down, Lorton all the way down to 47th. We did 47th, and then we did all of 46th Street.
Okay, all right. The other areas around Jersey Meadow apartment complex working to the east.
Yes, we also did a canvas behind Costco where there's a field. We walked that area as a group. We also did all the surrounding area of Jersey Meadows as well.
Okay, all right. What did you do in the area that you and Detective Walker worked?
Went door to door looking for any leads for Briege.
Okay. Would you have knocked on every door of every residence there?
Yes.
Okay. And then if individuals weren't home, were business cards left requesting the homeowner or residents to contact the Davenport Police Department?
Yes.
Okay. That being said, relative to the entirety of that canvas done of that area, did anyone report seeing Briasia?
No.
Was Briasia captured on any video surveillance cameras?
No, not that I collected.
And virtue of video surveillance cameras or knocking on doors that would assist in locating Briasia?
No.
Now, let's step outside of that. From there, then, what were you tasked with doing in the course of the investigation?
The following days, we were tasked with, again, continuing to canvass the area, broadening the search, looking for maybe businesses that would have video showing maybe 53rd Street, trying to find any sort of leads that would have maybe a vehicle or something that we found relevant to the investigation.
Okay. Did that extend further past Jersey Ridge on 53rd?
Yes.
So, for example, in the area of 53rd and Easton, is that a residential area?
That's a business area.
It's a business area. And then, so what types of businesses were located in that area?
There's a couple of strip malls there and some banks.
Okay. Are there also some medical facilities there?
Yes.
Through July 19th, out along Highway 30 in the area of Clinton and Comanche. Did that encompass DeWitt as well?
Yes.
Okay. Were you a part of that?
Yes.
Okay. And then as far as what was happening out there, what was happening out there?
We canvassed, I believe it was Lieutenant Ellerbach had a map that was divided up, and we were all assigned certain sections to go search. So we spent a whole day doing that. The other couple days, me and Detective King and Detective Walker, depending on the dates, were canvassing for video through Highway 30 and also 11th Street, which is the main thoroughfare in DeWitt.
All right. As
I see you and everyone in this slide. All right, blessings to you as well, sweetie. Thanks for dropping in. Appreciate it. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button for you, girl. Feel free to support the channel. I went out, so I don't know how much of that y'all heard. But thank you, Cool Breeze. Love you. See you later. Y'all hit the like button for you, girl.
As you were doing that canvas, was there a specific business that you were tasked to go to?
Yes.
What was that business?
Walmart.
Where was that located?
That was in Clinton.
Okay. And what was the purpose for sending you to the Walmart in Clinton?
Me and Detective King were out that day, canvassing video, and we were advised to go to Walmart to pick up a video and a receipt.
Did you know why there would be video from Walmart and a receipt that would be pertinent to this investigation?
Yes.
Explain.
I was told that it had Mr. Dinkins on video at Walmart, and they needed to pick the video up.
Okay. Did you do that?
Yes.
All right. And then once you picked up that video, describe the chain of custody that you would have maintained for the
review, as then when he was finished with that, give it back to me, I logged and placed it into evidence.
Okay. And then would that have been
Good morning, Fun.
Hey, Black Betty Boo.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Truth, Money Boy.
How are you this morning, child?
Blessed and highly favored.
That's my boy. That's my.
No.
Where is it?
All right, here we go, y'all.
something that was subject to review by Detective Obert?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, may the record reflect that I'm showing counsel what's been marked as State's Exhibit 87. May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm handing you what's been marked State's Exhibit 87. Tell me if you recognize that exhibit.
Yes, that'd be the receipt.
Okay. And was this the receipt that you retrieved from Walmart?
Yes.
Describe the chain of custody that you maintain for that item of evidence.
Again, when I received it,
Your Honor, at this time, the state would move to introduce State's Exhibit Number 87.
I would object based off of improper foundation. It's hearsay.
Your Honor, I would note that the parties have reached a stipulation relevant to video surveillance footage, and this was a component of an item of evidence that was collected. We do have this officer who was personally involved in retrieving that item. He's described the chain of custody, and the state does believe that it has established the foundation for it.
I mean, we had a stipulation for the video. We didn't have a stipulation for this document. So again, I would renew those two objections.
Has the stipulation been presented to the court? I have not seen it.
I don't believe so.
For purposes of our record, counsel and I have the state was in agreement with the parameters of the stipulation, and what needs to happen is we just need to present that to the court with our signatures, but we have set that up.
I may be a little confused here, but I think they're trying to not want the Walmart receipt to come in. I mean, what? Let's see what's going on, y'all. I'm a little confused.
Would you say true?
Is it that the defense?
You went out.
And then what they're talking about?
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry. Okay, so is the defense saying they don't want the Walmart receipt to come in, or what, fun?
Wait a minute. Didn't they just show the receipt?
What are they fighting right now? I'm just trying to understand what they're fighting, what they objecting to. I'm a little confused.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't listening. I was responding to something, a text.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll see you in a minute. Let's listen. I'm gonna try to fast forward it a little bit.
The objection is sustained at this point.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Corporal Stocking, let's go back if we could. What date did you go to the Walmart there in Clinton?
The 20th.
Okay, who did you meet with at the Walmart?
Mac DeHart.
Can you spell Mr. Gahant's last name for our record?
Let me pull it up for you so I don't get it wrong. It's Gehant.
Okay, describe the nature of your contact with Mr. Gahant when you responded to the Walmart store.
I showed up to Walmart, walked inside, asked to speak with loss prevention and security. He showed up and he handed me the video and the receipt.
Okay, and had there already been contact initiated with Mr. Gahant prior to yourself and Detective King going out to that location?
Yes, we were just there to clearly pick it up that someone already made contact and requested the video.
And then did he know specifically why you were there, that it was related to activities involving Mr. Dinkins' contact at the Walmart store?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so then with respect to the receipt, we've talked about the chain of custody, is that correct?
Correct.
I just want to be clear for purposes of our record, State's Exhibit 87, does it give a description for what that item is?
Walmart receipt.
Okay, when you turn an item into evidence, describe how that process works.
Computer system and they enter it into there and print off the label.
Okay, what types of information is contained on the label that you print off?
My name, badge number, location.
Okay, in this particular case, when you had gone back to place the receipt into evidence, did you print out a receipt that would contain the relevant information associated with State's Exhibit 80? Okay, and does that label attach to the envelope for State's Exhibit 87?
Yes.
Okay, and then once the receipt was placed there in the envelope, then do you seal that in any way so that it can't be tampered with?
Yes.
Describe.
So we take this clear and sign my name to it.
Okay, and was that practice followed with respect to this exhibit?
Yes.
Okay, now it's obviously been open for courts today, is that correct?
Yes.
Was the envelope opened at a different location so as not to tamper with the evidence tape that you put on it when you sealed it?
Yes.
And then if you could, Your Honor, the state would move to introduce the exhibit at this time, subject to further foundation through the testimony of Matt Gahant.
I have the same objections, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if I could, the state would simply like to introduce testimony on the label. And then I can just withdraw at this time and introduce it through Matt Cahan. But I'd like to get that foundation established.
I think that's appropriate. You may ask a question about the label.
Thank you. All right. Can you tell us the information that you put on the label that's attached to that exhibit?
I put description, Walmart receipt of what Henry Dankins purchased.
Okay, and the date?
Recovery date, July 20th.
All right, and then from there, did you put a location where it was recovered from?
2715 South 25th Street, Clinton, Iowa.
What is the relevance of that location?
Walmart.
And then did you sign that receipt?
The label? Yes, I
Yes.
signed the label, correct.
Okay, and then at that point in time, was it placed into evidence?
Yes.
Okay, when you place it into evidence, where does it go for purposes of storage?
We have a room on the main floor, an evidence locker where it's secured in there.
Okay, now are these temporary evidence lockers or permanent evidence lockers?
These are temporary.
Explain how a temporary evidence locker works and what's done with evidence placed into temporary evidence lockers.
Placed in the temporary evidence locker, then when the evidence workers come in the morning, they check the temporary lockers and they remove the items and place them into a permanent.
Okay. Are you familiar with Aaron Leza?
Yes.
Are you familiar with Robin Hudson?
Robin Murdy?
Robin Murdy. There we
Yes.
go, thank you. And then who are these two young ladies?
They are evidence, they're evidence workers.
Okay. Are these two young ladies the ladies that are responsible for removing items from our temporary lockers to store in permanent evidence vaults?
Yes.
And would that have been the practice followed in this particular instance?
Yes.
Okay. All right. By virtue of the canvas, was there any evidence recovered that would help to locate Breasia Terrell?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Now, just for purposes of perspective, with officers out in that area, say, for example, if there was a shirt laying in a field, would that have been collected?
Yes.
If there was like a phone along the side of the road, would that be collected?
Yes.
Okay. Why would you just collect anything and everything that you came across?
Because you just don't know.
Okay. And then with the collection of those items, would that have been examined and a determination made as to whether or not it would have relevance to this investigation?
Yes.
Okay. Did you speak to the issue of canvassing being done in this area to collect video surveillance footage?
Yes, I did.
All right. What areas were covered, if you recall?
That I covered myself during the canvass. We covered, me and Detective King covered DeWitt, and we covered some of Highway 30.
All right. Can you show us on the map where DeWitt is so that we understand the relationship of DeWitt to Clinton? And then take the pointer, stand off to the side so that the court can see what you're doing. And use Highway 61 going north as a starting. Okay. What is the exit that you would? Oh, but what highway would it be?
Highway 30.
Okay, so then is that the same highway that you would exit to go into DeWitt?
That'd be the first exit, DeWitt, there's a second exit as well.
Okay, and then as far as Comanche, you had referenced Comanche too. Can you give us a perspective of the relationship of Comanche to the area where the Walmart was located? For purposes of our written record, directionally, which way would it be?
South.
Okay, go ahead and take your seat. Was any video surveillance collected along Highway 30 or even locations that you went to submitted for review?
Yes.
Okay, and then did it go through that same review process?
Yes,
Where-
it did.
Okay, and if there was something of relevance, would that have been then directed to our lead detective, Detective Obert?
Yes.
'22nd of 20. Of that date is?
Yes.
What is the relevance of March 22nd of 2021?
The debris was recovered.
Okay. Now, with the discovery of her findings, were you tasked with any assignments out in that area, either through the evening or the next morning on March 23rd of 2021?
Yes.
Could you describe that for us?
On March 23rd in the morning, we were tasked to, a canvas team was formed to canvass the area of where Breasia was recovered.
How massive was the manpower?
It was, I can't give a number, but it was extensive.
Okay. Where were her remains recovered generally?
Next to a body of water, just
Okay.
right off of 61.
And that body of water, was it located near a business that we could use just as a general frame of reference?
Yeah, south of, I believe it's Kunau, that's how you say it, the Kunau plant there.
Certainly. Was that area divided up into zones for searching?
Yes.
Okay, and did you search that area?
Yes.
Okay. During the course of that search, was there anything that was located that was of interest?
Yes.
And was this an item that you became involved with?
Yes.
Could you please explain?
Sergeant Jensen at the time, now lieutenant, located a white T-shirt about 25 yards south of where Briage's remains were.
Okay, why was a white T-shirt of interest?
The information we had was that the evening that Briage went missing, the last thing she was wearing was a white T-shirt.
All right. Were you ever up close to the remains themselves when they were discovered?
Not real close, but
Okay, all right. So then I'll ask this question, and and I don't know if you know this. Do you know whether there was clothing attached to her skeletal remains?
I don't know.
At any rate, with the finding of a white T-shirt, was that something that was seized?
Yes.
Okay. And then outside of that, was there anything else that you were involved with as far as standing by so that it could be secured as an item of evidence?
No other item.
Good morning, Miss Rosie. Good morning, Renee. Thanks for joining.
Of evidence, no.
Okay, for you? would
For
that
me.
be- Okay.
For me.
Did you also have any involvement with Corporal Mayer on that date?
Yes.
Explain.
He needed assistance doing the Faro scanner of the area, so I assisted him, however, whatever he needed.
What is a Faro scan?
It's a three.
Outside of helping him with that, is there anything else that you can think of import?
No.
Okay. With the discovery of skeletal remains on March 22nd, were there news stories coming out over television and even through social media platforms?
Yes.
Okay. By virtue of that, then, did you have occasion to meet with a particular gentleman that might have information?
I did not meet with him. Detective Walker met with him, but I went with Detective Walker, but I stayed in the vehicle.
Okay,
Yes,
all right.
I know
And
what you're
then-
referring to.
I cut you off. I'm sorry. Could you finish that?
No, I know what you're referring to, but yes, I went with Detective Walker.
Okay. And what was the name of the individual?
I didn't print off his report.
Oh, I gotcha. All right. So that wasn't something that you had personal contact with?
No.
Okay. And just for purposes of our record, is Detective Walker deceased at this point in time?
Yes.
Okay. Did that conclude your involvement in this matter?
Yes.
And the events that you've described, generally, did they occur in Scott County, Iowa? Involving Briasia coming up missing? Your Honor, the state calls Detective A.J. Poyer to the stand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please have a seat. You may.
Please state your name for the record and spell both your first and your last name.
As in Paul, O-I-R-I-E-R.
Okay. What is your occupation?
I'm a detective with the Davenport Police Department for the Special Victims Unit.
How long have you been employed with the Davenport Police Department?
A little over 6 years.
Okay. Describe your prior educational background.
I have a college degree from Western Illinois University, and then I've graduated from the Iowa Law Enforcement Academy.
Okay. When did you complete your formal education?
Would have been 2007.
And then once you completed your formal education, what type of work did you do before joining the Davenport Police Department?
I worked for Hy-Vee grocery stores. I worked in management for them and a loss prevention position for the corporate office. Then I worked for the Department of Corrections as a position that was called residential officer, oversaw work release clients. And then I came to the Davenport Police Department.
Okay. When did you officially begin your career with the Davenport Police Department?
Would have been December of 2016.
Okay. In what capacities have you served the department over the course of your 6-year career?
So I was in the patrol division when I first started, both on second shift and third shift. And then I went to the detective bureau.
Okay. What was the nature of your assignment on July 10th of 2020?
I was a detective with the Special Victims Unit at that time.
Okay. Were you involved in the investigation of Breasia Terrell, who had been reported missing that day?
I was.
Okay. Were you actually on duty on July 10th?
I was not.
You were not. At what point in the investigation did you become involved?
I was out of town on vacation at the start of the investigation. I came back a few days later and started on the investigation.
Okay. And then when you came back on July 17th of 2020, did you have any involvement with a gentleman out at the Walmart in Clinton?
I did. An officer that was reviewing some exterior camera footage from that location informed me that they thought they were seeing an involved vehicle on the cameras, asked me to go there to do further follow-up.
Okay. And what was the involved vehicle that was noted to be present on some video surveillance footage outside that business?
It was a Chevy Impala.
Okay. Now, when you responded to the Walmart in Clinton, describe what occurred there.
So I met with a manager that was available to meet with me, discuss the situation with him, and that I wanted to try reviewing more camera angles and try to understand the movements of a vehicle we were seeing on the footage we'd already collected.
Okay. Were you develop essentially what had been going on July 10th?
Yeah, the manager took me into their camera room and we reviewed footage together.
Okay. What was the name of the gentleman that you met with?
Jurhant, it's George, or G as in George, E-H-A-N-T.
Okay. Now, what happened when you and Mr. Gahant went back into a room where the video surveillance equipment was located at?
So I explained to him the approximate time that we were seeing it, so we started at that time frame to try and spot the vehicle, and then from there we followed the vehicle's activities.
Okay. What was the time of interest?
So it was just prior to 7 a.m., it was right around 6:50.
Okay. And how had that time been identified as a relevant time to events associated with this investigation?
So we had some cell phone information. Understand why the cell phone was in that area.
Certainly. During this period of time, what were the store hours for Walmart?
So at that time, that store had started opening at 7 a.m.
Okay. And what was the reason for it not staying open overnight, if you know?
Walmart's, just around that time, transitioned from being 24 hours, most open during the daytime.
Certainly. So its official opening time would have been what?
7 a.m.
If you could then walk us through what you noted as you were watching video footage related to that time frame associated with 7 a.m.
So at 6:50, I saw the Chevy Impala entering the parking lot for the first time.
And would that be the maroon Chevy Impala associated with Henry Dinkins?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Then the Chevy Impala parks and Henry exits the vehicle and walks up to the front doors.
Are you familiar with the subject by the name of Henry Dinkins?
Yes.
Is Mr. Dinkins present in court today?
Yes, he is.
Could you please point him out and describe what he's wearing for our record? Your Honor, may the record reflect that identification.
Yes, the record shall so reflect.
Okay. All right. Once Mr. Dinkins exited the maroon Chevy Impala, what did you observe as far as his activities?
So he approached the front doors, and then the store wouldn't have been open, and then he ended up walking back to the vehicle.
Okay. So this time frame, is it before 7 a.m.?
Yes.
And between what period of time and 7 a.m. would this have occurred?
So about 10 minutes before 7 a.m.
Sure.
It was occurring. So it was like, so it would have been like 6:50 to about like 6:53.
All right. So within that 10-minute time frame?
Yeah.
What did you observe happening next?
So then the vehicle starts driving, travels through the parking lot, was able to see a camera view that covered the vehicle from like an elevated angle. And I was able to see movement in the passenger area of the vehicle.
Okay. When you noted movement in the passenger area of the vehicle, could you recognize a second individual then inside the front compartment of that vehicle?
I could not recognize a second individual.
And when I say recognize, could you see that there was a second individual?
I saw indications that there were two people in the vehicle.
Okay. Was there a difference in the size of who was driving the vehicle versus a subject that was sitting in the passenger seat?
I could not tell that.
You could not tell that. The other topic of conversation is this. For the maroon Chevy Impala, how would you describe the windows around the vehicle?
They were pretty dark. I believe some of them were tinted as well.
Okay. Now, when you are looking, though, through or looking into the vehicle, what window would you have been able to make your observations through?
Again, it was from an elevated
And so since it was the windshield of the vehicle, was that tinted?
It was not tinted.
Okay, what happened next?
So the vehicle leaves the lot, and it comes back a little bit later.
Okay,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
So it returned about, it was like 6:58 that it returned.
Okay, what happened when the maroon Chevy Impala returned to the parking lot of Walmart?
Parked again, and then Henry Dinkins exited and started approaching the store.
Okay, on each occasion, where did Mr. Dinkins exit the vehicle from?
Driver's side.
And then when he'd come back from the store when it wasn't open, where did he enter the vehicle?
Driver's side.
Okay, on the second occasion, after he exits the maroon Chevy Impala, what do you observe him doing?
So he approaches the store, and he ends up entering the store.
Okay. Did Walmart have any cameras inside the store that would allow you to observe his movement and activities within the store?
They did. They had interior cameras that we used to monitor him in the store the best we could.
And did you review that video surveillance footage?
I did.
Describe what you observed once Mr. Dinkins entered the store.
So we witnessed Henry go to some aisles, and then he came back towards the front.
Could you see what those items were?
Yes.
What did Mr. Dinkins have in his grocery cart?
From what I could see, there was two bottles that were consistent with bleach.
Okay. And then at that point in time, did Mr. Dinkins approach a register?
He did.
What did he do at the register?
He rang up to, it was clearer there, the picture, but he rang up 2 bottles of bleach.
Okay. Now, did he go to a self-service checkout stand, or was he assisted with a clerk?
It was
By virtue of your observations of that transaction, did that prompt sending detectives out on a later date?
Yeah, so I collected some video at that time, but it takes a while to kind of download videos, especially doing multiple views. And the manager was pretty busy, so he said that he was going to work on it more, and he was going to call when he completed downloading the video and have the receipt.
Okay, and so had you made a request for the receipt? That being said, were you notified when that video footage had been collected, the additional video footage?
Yes.
And then were you notified that the receipt had been obtained?
Yes.
Okay. And then as far as Detective Stocking was concerned, or Corporal Stocking, did he have any involvement with that additional video surveillance footage or the receipt?
No, he wouldn't have. He would have just gone there to pick it up for me.
Okay, so he did go to pick it up for you?
Yes.
All right. What did you observe happening next?
Next, it was about 7:10. He leaves and leaves the parking lot.
And he being who?
Henry Dinkins.
Okay. When Mr. Dinkins left the parking lot of Walmart, could you see what direction he would have traveled to?
From what we could see, the direction that he was going to travel was going to be, it would have been back westbound.
All right. Let's do a little bit better job, and I'll do a better job actually with my questions. I want to direct you to State's Exhibit 38. Now, as you look at State's Exhibit 38, are you familiar with what is depicted on this particular exhibit?
Yeah.
Depicting Clinton County nations that became relevant to this investigation.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Go ahead and take that pointer right behind you. And then if you could, Detective Poyer, I'd like for you to stand off to the side so that Judge Latham can see what you're doing. Can you also take your microphone and point it towards you so that we can hear what you're saying? When witnesses get over there, it's hard to hear what you are saying. All right. So take your pointer, take us up along Highway 61, and then to the Walmart there, once you get to Highway 30. If you turn off of Highway 61 and you head into Clinton, what highway are you heading into or onto?
30. Highway 30.
What direction would you be heading?
Would be heading eastbound.
As you enter the city limits of Clinton, what street then is Highway 30? What does it become?
Becomes Lincoln Way.
Okay. And then on that diagram, can you show us where the Walmart is located at? And some type of dot that indicates the location. And of it, is there a printed entry?
Yes, there is.
What is that printed entry?
It states Walmart and gives the address.
Okay. Now, what direction does Highway 30 run again?
It would be an east-west highway.
So if you're going out of town, what direction are you going?
Be traveling westbound.
Which side of Lincoln Way is the Walmart located on?
Walmart would be
Parking lot, what direction was he observed traveling toward?
He was traveling eastbound.
Okay. Eastbound, going further this way?
Sorry, he was traveling westbound out of the parking lot.
Okay, and then just go ahead and show us then so that we've got a perspective. By virtue of observations that were made, did that form the basis of canvassing that was conducted in that area?
It did. One other thing I forgot about that canvassing from my observations is when Henry was in the store on Walmart, I could see more movement inside of the vehicle in the parking lot.
Okay, all right, let's go ahead and let's go back to that and tell me about that movement. Where was it coming from?
It was from the front passenger seat area of the vehicle again.
Okay. Now, were you aware of interviews that would have been conducted at the Davenport Police Department from noon moving forward through the afternoon of July 10th?
I was aware of him. I don't know him in full detail.
Sure. Did you know whether or not Henry Dinkins had come in for an interview around noon?
He did.
Were you aware of whether or not Aisha Langford had come down to the department to be interviewed that day?
Yes.
Were you aware of whether or not the child DL had come into the department to be interviewed that day?
Yes.
Were you aware of whether or not Andrea Culberson, Mr. Dinkins' girlfriend, had come into the apartment to be interviewed that day?
Yes.
And then so had all of their statements been collected before you went out and performed your responsibilities on July 17th of 2020?
Yes, they would have been.
All right. And then from that, had information been gathered as to who the second subject would have been in the passenger seat of that vehicle?
That would have been the juvenile DL.
Okay. As far as the movements of that individual in the passenger seat, how would you describe those movements? Is there anything really to talk about there other than just movement?
Nothing crazy, just some back and forth movements.
All right. We're going back to the question of the canvas.
Yep.
So with everything that was observed there at the Walmart, marker, if you will, for canvassing that would have been done in that area.
Yes.
Going into Clinton to the Walmart and going back out.
Very rural. There's like one production facility out there. I think they're like a chemical type plant, but very rural. Lots of patches of trees and fields.
Certainly. Then once you got into town on Lincoln Way, was that residential or commercial?
So when you start coming into town in Clinton there, it's very commercial.
Okay. Were locations searched for video surveillance cameras?
Yes, extensively along Highway 30.
And then would that have included the rural areas for any type of residences out there or even businesses?
Yeah, any business or home along there that had cameras.
Okay. Detective Poyer, to set the stage, were you, let me rephrase. Were there a number of officers involved in this investigation?
Several officers.
Okay. Was each officer assigned different tasks to perform?
Yes, several different tasks.
Would there have been officers assigned to do interviews of various subjects?
Yes.
Were there officers assigned to searching areas of interest? Involved in collecting pieces of information. Did that information then become subject of briefings that occurred?
Yeah, we regularly, especially after something significant occurred, there would be like a briefing to discuss it,
Okay.
and for other people to be able to share any findings that they had from their tasks.
Okay. By virtue of that process then, did you become aware of the Quick Shop on 53rd being an area of interest?
So yes, after one day of completing searches, Detective Obert had informed me that Henry had discussed going to a Quick Shop during the night, and he collected video from there, and he asked if I could review it to see if there was anything relevant on it.
Okay. Who did the interview of Mr. Dinkins when he came to?
Obert did.
Oh, okay. So by virtue of that that was task that he assigned you to do?
Yep.
Okay. Can you give us a perspective of where that Quick Shop is at so that we all are familiar with the location that you're talking about?
Yeah, so it'd be on 53rd Street, the north side of town. It would be a little bit to the west of Welcome Way, which turns into like Harrison Street. It'd be just to the south of the old Menards on 53rd Street.
All right. Menards?
Yes.
Okay. So when you went there, what date did you go to that location?
When I went there for follow-up. I went there a couple times, but the first time I physically went there after reviewing it was 7/18.
Okay. Describe what developed when you went to the quick shop.
So I went to the quick shop to collect a receipt because of my observations that I saw on the footage.
Okay, so then let's talk about on footage from that store. Does the quick shop have video surveillance cameras?
Yes,
Okay, can you give us the specific street address for the quick shop?
most likely yes. Just one sec. It's 201 West 53rd Street.
All right. Where does the business,
And then they have interior cameras.
describe the layout of the parking lot in front of the store?
So as their property would be, the actual convenience store is on the southernmost part of the property. So the parking lot and fuel pumps would be on the north side and closest to 53rd Street.
Certainly. Now, is there more than one driveway that can be used to access that parking lot?
Yes, you can enter it from West 53rd Street and then a side road, which I believe is Sheridan. But anyways, there is a side road to it on the east side of the property.
Does the quick shop sell gas?
Yes,
Are there islands with gas pumps there in that parking lot that lie to the north of the store?
yes.
Okay. Do you recall how many islands? And I'm talking islands first, not the number of gas pumps.
I believe two.
Sure. And then on each island, are there multiple gas pumps?
Actually, I think there's three.
Three, okay.
Yeah, I think there's two for each island.
All right. That being said, when you were watching video surveillance footage, were you given a date and a time through the interview of Henry Dinkins?
Yeah, he had informed me it was around like 3-something in the morning, but he collected video for a few hours around that time frame.
Okay. Describe then what you observed. Oh, well, okay, so let's set that aside, all
Okay.
right? Now let's go inside the store. Is there any video surveillance cameras inside the store?
Yes.
Explain.
They have a few different cameras that like cover the register area. One covers the front door, and a couple that would like cover like I guess the sales floor, like where customers would buy items.
Store
I did.
and for inside the store.
I did both.
That maroon Chevy Impala outside the store?
It pulled in to the parking lot and parked at a fuel pump.
Okay. Which vehicle was that?
Maroon Chevy Impala.
What time did that vehicle pull into the parking lot and park at the fuel pump, if you have that documented anywhere?
I don't have the exact time that it pulled in.
All right. Is that something that Detective Obert was able to establish once you had gone through and was talking like?
There was light out at the pumps. I wouldn't say it's the brightest. Pretty dull lighting out there.
Okay. And in the middle of the night, what's it like?
Pretty dark.
Okay. We talked previously about the maroon Chevy Impala and the windows. If you were to describe the tent along the either driver's side or the passenger side of the vehicle, how would you describe that tent?
I couldn't see in the vehicle from the exterior cameras because of it.
Okay. Did you see anyone exit that vehicle?
Just Henry.
Okay. And then when Mr. Dinkins exited the vehicle, what did you observe Mr. Dinkins do?
Entered the store.
What happened when he entered the store?
He approached the register.
What occurred at the All right. Beyond that, did you note clothing that he was wearing at that?
I don't have it in the report here.
All right. Did you have a chance to ever interview Andrea Culberson?
I did not.
Did you ever have a chance to interview Notorious, or DL?
I did not. no.
Okay. And when you went there, did you have any information changing?
Clothing, and it was going to be relevant.
Okay.
I was doing kind of like quick reviews and gathering of information, and some of that like further detailed documenting was done later.
Done by somebody else?
Yes.
Okay, so this is just giving us an overview, would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And then as far as what happened next on the video surveillance footage, essentially what occurred?
So after Henry finished completing transaction, he went back to the Chevy Impala. He had purchased some fuel, so he gassed the car, and then he ended up leaving and traveling eastbound on 53rd Street back towards what would be Welcome Way.
Okay. If he's going past 53rd, or going east on 53rd, Welcome Way for purposes of our written record, what direction does that travel?
So Welcome Way would be a north-south. It's a one-way, and it travels south.
Okay. Would that take us toward our southernmost border if you follow that all the way downtown?
You take us towards the downtown and the Mississippi River.
Okay. And then what would be the one way that would take us out of town on Highway 61?
Brady Street.
Okay. How much further, Welcome Way, that one way going south, to Brady, that one way going north?
It's like a two blocks up there.
Okay. Did you know anything else about his direction of travel?
No.
Okay. What additional tasks did you have relative to the Quick Shop and Mr. Dinkins' transaction there at the Quick Shop?
So I went there for follow-up to gain a further understanding of what that, the purchase that I saw Henry complete, what that entailed, and to get a receipt for it.
Who did you meet with?
Lori Schusler, she was the manager of the Quick Shop at that time.
Could you give us a spelling for our written record?
I can. Lori would be spelled Laurie. And the last name Schusler would be spelled Schusler.
What developed during your contact with Miss Schusler?
So I informed her of the situation, that I reviewed the video, and there was a transaction of interest on there that I wanted to obtain the receipt for.
Okay. And what did Miss Schusler do based on your request?
So she provided me, she got onto her red.
Is that she was able to identify what would have been the relevant transaction, if you know.
So I knew that I'd seen a couple packs of cigarettes, and I also provided the time.
Okay.
So she pulled up the transactions for that time period, and we identified that transaction.
And then in addition to the purchasing of cigarettes, had you noted that there was also a purchase of fuel?
Yes, there was.
All right. May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm handing you what's been
Quick Shop.
Was this the receipt that you were provided by Miss Schusler?
Yes.
Okay. Essentially, what does this receipt encompass?
So this receipt shows at 7/10 at 3:34 a.m. Cashier Angel checked out 2 packs of Newports, and there was a prepay fuel of $35.
Total cost of the transaction.
It looks like the total was $51.63.
And then how was that paid?
It was paid for in cash.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would move to introduce State's Exhibit 88-1.
No objection.
Exhibit 88-1 will be admitted.
Let's focus on the gas purchase. Was that something that was of interest to investigators?
Yes, it was.
Can you explain?
It could help us understand how much that vehicle had traveled on that fuel.
Okay. Now, did you do some research on a maroon Chevy Impala of that age to determine what the capacity was of a gas tank?
I did not. Other investigators involved did.
Okay. And then, so with that being said, were you asked to document fuel prices on the gas pumps during this period of
about it. On that date, she informed me it would be the same as what was on the pumps on the date I was there, or 1 cent cheaper.
So did you document those fuel prices?
I did. I took photographs of them.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that I'm showing counsel what's been marked as States Exhibits 88-2 through 88-5. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm handing you what's been marked States Exhibit 88-2 through 88-5. Do you recognize those exhibits?
Yes, these are photographs I captured.
All right. Just generally, what does that group exhibit consist of?
It was the current price of fuel at the pumps at the Quick Shop.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, the state would move to introduce States Exhibits 88-2 through 88-5.
No objection. Those exhibits will be admitted.
Your Honor, may we publish this set of exhibits?
You may.
Detective Poyer, I'm going to go to 88-5 first of all, and I want you to look at that exhibit and for our written record, describe what it is that we're seeing here.
So this would be an overall photograph of the pump, of the area where it shows the different types of fuel and the prices.
Okay. Does it give us the prices for each of the different grades?
It does.
How many grades of fuel was the Quick Shop selling?
Quick Shop had 3.
And what were those?
It would be mid-grade, unleaded, and then premium unleaded.
Can we see the prices per gallon on this exhibit?
You can, it's pretty faint.
All right. You can see it very clearly.
I did.
Going to States Exhibit 88-4, what was the price per gallon for our mid-grade?
Mid-grade was $2.49.
88-2, what was the price? Going to States Exhibit 88-3, what was the price for unleaded?
Unleaded was $2.14.
Okay, and then was that information then utilized relative to what would be the capacity for the gas tank on this vehicle to do some extrapolation later on?
That was performed later.
Do you know if there was a search warrant obtained to remove the gas tank of the maroon Chevy Impala after it had been seized?
There was.
And what was the purpose for that search warrant?
For seeing how much fuel remained in the vehicle.
Okay. Were you involved in that process?
I was not.
Okay. What further involvement did you have in this investigation?
I had several different aspects that I was involved in. I guess to start with the Quick Shop. In the video, there was a customer that was behind him, so I went back and followed up with Lori again to get further receipts to see if maybe he'd done something at transaction that I could try to track him down and ask him if he observed what card was used, so I was able to track down that customer.
And was there anything that you were able to gather of evidentiary value from that individual when you made contact with them?
Was not.
All right. From there then, what additional involvement did you have in the investigation?
I would have been at the recovery site. I was involved with that.
Okay. Let's set that aside for the time being.
Okay.
Were you out in the Clinton area when they did the major search in that area?
I was.
Okay. And then that having been said, anything else that you did relative to this investigation before we get to the recovery site?
I mean, I was extensively involved in video collection, so that was part of it. I was also involved in a search warrant being written to PlayStation, and then things.
Okay. Since you had mentioned a search warrant related to a PlayStation, what PlayStation are you talking about?
So there was a PlayStation that was present in Andrea and Henry Dinkins' apartment.
Okay. And why was a search warrant applied for that particular PlayStation?
Because activity on that PlayStation was discussed during interviews.
Okay. And was that just another thing that law enforcement was following up to see if it would present any leads?
Or important for us to try and follow up on things to understand a timeline.
And I think that's probably the better way of saying it. So was that kind of information also used to corroborate statements provided by any of the individuals?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Just a quick question. Was there video surveillance footage that was gathered down in the area of River Drive around Credit Island and Devon Self-Storage where the RV was parked?
Yes, there's several, video was collected from several places down in that part of town.
Okay. What locations provided video surveillance footage that would have documented the movements of Henry Dinkins, either in the middle of the night of July 10th or that morning after the 8 o'clock hour?
So I was involved in building a timeline for that part of town, and I can read through those.
Okay. Give us the names of the locations where we would have found relevant video surveillance footage.
Do you want addresses too?
Could you please?
Yes. Jack's Breaks, 2160 West River Drive. The storage facility that you mentioned starts with a D, but I have it labeled on mine as it was connected to the volleyball factory. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Is Devon Self-Storage within the same structure as the volleyball factory?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Address is 2060 West River Drive.
Okay.
Sarah Lowe Residence. It was 2358 West River Drive.
And what was the location of Sarah Lowe's residence relative to Credit Island?
So it was just north of River Drive, and it was a little bit to the west of like the only entrance to Credit Island.
Okay, let's go back down to our perspective of that. And generally, just to give us an idea of where her residence was located at. We did have a directional legend we had to erase to work with the left side of the diagram that, yeah.
So as I'm seeing this, it'd be like Mississippi River here. So this would be south, this would be north. So when people enter the island, they're traveling southbound. This would be River Drive along the bottom of the map. To my right would be traveling westbound on River Drive.
You put us back another directional indicator or legend that would apply to Credit Island. And give us all four directions. Okay, continue.
All right, so Sarah Lowe's residence would be approximately here, would be north of River Drive and to the west of the main entrance.
Could you mark that with Sarah Lowe? Was this a personal residence?
Yes, it was a single-family residence.
Was there video surveillance equipment affixed to the outside of that structure?
Yes, there was.
What would have been the location of that video surveillance camera and then its, I guess, direction for picking up activity?
So from the residence, it would have been pointing in what would have been like a southeastward direction, covering like the entrance going, cars kind of entering Credit Island and some portion of River Drive.
All right. Detective Poyer, can you grab the eraser for me? We've had a bit of a problem. We used a magic marker, or that wasn't a dry erase. But come over to this portion of the diagram that has Costco and just a rough sketch for the Jersey Meadow apartment complex. Erase what you can there and what would be Jersey Ridge. Now, what I want, yeah, I don't know that any of that'll erase, but at any rate, what I'd like for you to do is give us an idea of the location of Schmidt Island.
Oh, okay. Or this direction.
Okay, but actually, stay down here on River Drive where we would access it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's off of River Drive.
And then, if you could, was this the area where Mr. Dinkins' RV was being stored?
It was in this area. It would be up Schmidt Road a little bit, so northbound on Schmidt Road a little bit, and then it would.
See. Located in relation to Schmidt Road.
Right at the corner of Schmidt Road and River Drive. It would be the northeast corner right there.
Did it have a video surveillance camera that was picking up activity there on Schmidt Road?
Yes, it was.
And then Devon Self-Storage, or what you were describing as the building behind the volleyball factory, what would have been its location relative to the RV and Schmidt Road?
Yeah, so it would have been to the east of Schmidt Road and to the east of the camper you were talking about.
Did it have some type of camera affixed to the building that would pick up activity there in the parking lot where the RV was stored?
Yep, it had a camera on the exterior of the building that was shooting a view that would be westward.
Okay. Sarah Lowe's video camera, how was that activated? Was it a constant feed or motion activated?
Very certain that hers was motion activated.
Are you sure about that?
I would have to check a report on it, to be
That's
honest.
okay. And then if we're not focus on Schmidt Road, going further to the north, was there a business that would have picked up activity that would be of interest?
There was a couple businesses.
Tell me about those.
There was Purina. There's also Kraft, Rich Metals,
All right. And for Purina, that's the one that I'm interested in. What's its address?
607 Schmidt Road.
Where would it be relative to the location of where the RV was parked? On the east side or the west side of Schmidt Road?
East side of Schmidt Road. It's pretty close to it, just a little bit south of Rockingham.
Does Schmidt Road actually connect to Rockingham?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so River Drive, is that our furthest, our southernmost east-west street?
In that part of town, yes.
Okay, and next, east-west street.
Rockingham.
Okay, and then so what business are we going to be interested in there on Rockingham?
It would be on Rockingham. So there was Hy-Vee and Smoking Joe's.
Okay, and then give me the address of Hy-Vee.
Hy-Vee would be 3019 Rockingham Road.
Picked up that was of interest.
Yes.
Was there activity picked up on Devon Self-Storage or conversely the volleyball factory that was of interest?
Yes.
Was there activity picked up on cameras at Purina that was of interest?
Yes.
And was there activity picked up at Hy-Vee that was of interest?
Yes.
All right. And then was all of that information directed to Detective Obert, who would have gone through, done a review, and also did an established timeline for events associated with those cameras?
Yep. So I went through that area, built a timeline, provided that to him so he could work that into the overall timeline.
Okay, and I think what we'll do, since we're going to cover that with Detective Obert, we will do that through him.
Okay.
Did you have any additional involvement out at the site of the recovery?
I did.
What was the nature of your involvement out there?
I was brought out there at about 3:45 a.m. To take over on scene security until the morning when more resources were going to arrive to process the area.
Okay. With the discovery of Brieja's remains, who was the first law enforcement agency that was contacted?
I believe it was Clinton County.
Okay. Then did Clinton County respond right away to address that situation?
Yes.
Crime scene?
Yes.
Explain what that means to secure a crime scene.
Often we put up or something similar like that. And then we keep a physical presence there to make sure that that perimeter is not breached.
Okay. Was Clinton maintaining the initial security around the crime scene?
Yes.
Was Davenport notified of the discovery?
Yes.
Okay. Did officers from Davenport then go out to the area of Kunow Implement where the skeletal remains had been discovered?
They did.
Were you a part of then maintaining that security throughout the night?
At a later time, I wasn't there initially, but
Okay.
yes, I was involved later.
Does this task get handed off from one agency to another agency or from one officer to another officer?
Clinton County ends up
Good morning, Jay. Good to see you, girl. Good morning.
transferring to our officers, and then a Davenport officer is who I switched out with. And then it remained us keeping the perimeter from there to the end.
Until the end, after
End of
everything had been
processing.
collected?
Yes.
And then did you, or was there a perimeter log, I should say a log that was put together to show who came and went into that scene from the point that it was identified as a scene until it was released?
Yeah, pretty common practice for us is we're going to keep a log of who is going in and out of that scene, especially on major scenes like this. So yes, there was a log being kept.
Okay. Did that conclude your involvement in this matter?
I picked up that log and I was relieved from the log at about, I think it was 11 a.m. Yeah, 11 a.m. And then I assisted with processing.
Okay. Describe your involvement in the processing of the scene.
So helped clear like larger brush, and it was like a rainy day, so we put some tarps up in tents to preserve the area that we were going to be working on, and then that basically filtered down to me working on removing smaller debris, so we could gather as much evidence there as we could, bone or any other type of evidence.
Did a representative of the local medical examiner's office come out to the scene?
Yes, I believe so.
And then was there a representative associated with the state medical examiner's office that came out to the scene?
Yeah, like a forensic anthropologist.
Okay. Are you familiar with Dr. Heather Garvin?
Yes.
Who is Dr. Heather Garvin?
She was the forensic anthropologist that came to the scene.
Okay. Since you were dealing with skeletal remains, did that necessitate the need for an anthropologist?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, may I... And then finally...
Truth, you went out. Are you still there? Oh, she dropped off. Can you hear me, Money Boy?
I can. Where in the hell Truthis go to?
She dropped off.
She just left. Just said fuck this shit.
Oh,
And
y'all,
took
I
her.
want to tell y'all something too. Um, I was talking to two individuals last night, and we agreed on this. I believe that this man messed with this girl before, because remember, he met the mother when Briasia was like 2 years old, and they were together for what, a couple of years, 2 or 3 years or whatever. I believe he messed with that little girl then. It might not have been no penetration or anything, but I think he fondled or did something to that little girl when she was younger. What do you think, Money Boy?
You done? You ain't got no more for us.
No, I asked you, what did you think? What do you think?
Shut up, everybody.
I could see that. I don't think that was his first time.
Hey, my name's Grace. My baby daddy.
Nobody asked you.
Hey, baby Patty.
Nobody asked me.
Oh, I'm sorry, big girl Patty.
She
Being
ran.
your life.
You said what?
Who have me being your life?
Miss
How old
Ann,
you in the
she was
line?
around that age. I think she was like, I don't think she was no more than 20 years old when they met. I think she was in like 20 or something because he lied and told her that he was in his late 20s. And I think she was in her early 20s, no more than 20, 21. But actually, he was in his 30s because they're like 20 years apart. At the end of the day, they should hang him by his balls.
Don't talk to you for 3 minutes. You had to hit me. Help. Help someone. Help.
Truth, we ain't got a minute. Hurry up.
Give me a minute, y'all. Because there's a 19-year age difference. Al Pacino and his 29-year-old baby mama broke up.
Yeah, he's one sick individual, all right. And that's putting it nicely. Shit.
Yes, he's definitely. Are they close to a verdict? What the hell is taking them so long on the verdict? Have they went to the jury yet? Or they
No,
still wrapping
it's
up the
no
trial?
jury. It's up to the judge.
This nigga got a
And
bench trial?
yeah,
Yes.
because of the other day, somebody in the chat, I want to say it was Candy, that said the verdict. He'll have a verdict on the 15th. Because this was only like a 14-day trial. Because I think day 13 and 14 was the closing argument.
True, why am I just seeing your video you uploaded yesterday? I'm just seeing it this morning. Something's wrong with my feed this late. It's on CPT. Why the hell did you have a picture of Chitterling sitting there? What was that all about? That made it hard to listen to the audio.
You eat chitlins?
I do not. I don't. I don't eat pig feet, pig ears, pig tails, hog maw. No, none of this. Souse, none of
Oh,
this.
sounds gross.
I don't eat none of the pig snout. Nope, none of it.
So we on the same page when it comes to the pig.
Well, no, I eat me a good smoked sausage every blue moon, and I like me some pork shoulder every blue moon. But yeah, I don't do all that other stuff. I don't
See,
eat
I
pork
do some
chops and shit.
bacon.
But I do that too.
I'll
I
do
do
bacon
the
every
normal
now
part of the pig, not that extra shit that the slaves ate.
and then. And at Christmas time, I'll have me a couple of slices of ham. But
Honey
that's
baked
about
ham,
it.
I hope. Honey baked, I hope. In truth, in your video, I learned that no matter what I do, apparently this woman gonna watch me. But I laughed. I said, "Wait a minute. Is she saying I can't let her go while watching me talk about news stories? Like you literally listen to me talk about news stories. I don't know what else to say. I don't. That's why, like, I don't keep responding to you because I can't watch you, so I can't respond.
What is the
Notice when you get a
obsession when it comes to you, Money Boy? What is the
she
obsession?
she she claims there isn't one. She said it's me. It's me. She said it ain't one, even though you clearly can see her listening to me watch the news. I can see if I was talking some shit and she felt like, oh, he gonna be talking shit about somebody. She knew I was finna do news stories, and I did. She just so happened to be the first one because she was doing the timeline. I did a 3-minute segment and moved on, and she literally reviewed it
Mm.
and gave a riveting statement. But ain't the same lady been calling me gay for years? But nobody else can say it about other people. Like you, see, I just don't get it. Yes, Tracy.
Well, I tried to help my cousin and I tried to my I'm not I tried to pick it back up. I actually just fall
Mm.
down all by I did try to save it. I tried to
I don't
Okay.
believe Truth is rebooting her laptop. I think she doing something else. She rebooting all right, but there ain't no damn laptop.
Uh, Men in the chat or at home with your wives. College football starts in 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. It's a full slate all day, man. Get your remotes, get your popcorn, tell your woman to make your snacks, get your drinks. Let's watch some football. It's one of them days. Roll Tide.
Mm-hmm. Sure, your laptop is tripping. Is Baby Petty's feeling better? Roll Tide. It is football season. Is there a lot of football fans in the chat? I used to be into football, but I haven't for the last probably 3 years.
Now, Truth, I'm gonna need you to move out of Alabama too, because one of the new strange news stories I got is there's this black mayor, first ever black mayor in this Alabama town, and this nigga said he locked out of City Hall. I don't know how. What is y'all doing down there in Alabama? Need you to move. It ain't safe. It's not safe. Backwoods state. The Sooners, they suck. USC overrated. Come on with the teams. Oh, and she know who I'm talking about. Steve Reed is the new boy. Ah, what the hell? We got it. Well, we'll discuss it when I do the story since you know about it. I'm glad you know about it. That's all that shit. I'm like, what the hell? Let's see. I think Memphis had it's like Chicago, Memphis, and Philly. I think cut up over the Labor Day weekend. A couple other cities. You know what? I'm not. I gotta ask Gay. LA must have slowed down on their shootings and shit because they not talked about like
She
everybody
said
else
she
now.
went to school with him.
Oh, I went to school. She went to school with that. He a mayor, interviewer. But they're not talking about every time you look up, you will see a mass shooting or they saying this happened in this city. LA is not being talked about when it comes to those anymore. New York still gets they shine, but LA don't get it. LA don't get to shine like this. So I'm just wondering, has the crime slowed down in LA or is the media just not reporting it like they're doing everywhere else? It's weird. Especially for how big it is. You would think it's rampant mass shootings going on with the gang culture out there. I ain't even just talking about black people. Gang culture is extensive among everybody out there. White folks got their gangs, Mexicans got their gangs, Indians got their gangs. They all gang banging.
Chicago is horrible.
Yep. Chicago shit. Memphis is horrible. Baltimore is fucking horrible. Philadelphia is horrible. New York is horrible. Miami and Jacksonville are fucking horrible. There's a lot of places that are horrible.
Actually, it's getting bad all over. To be honest.
Dallas isn't as bad as it used to be, nor Houston. It's like all the places that used to be extremely violent back in the
Yeah,
day
what's
have
up with
kind of cleaned up their image, except for Chicago.
what's up with California with the smash and grab?
Oh, that
I,
smash and grabs is a trend across the country now. It's everybody's doing that shit.
but I've been seeing a lot of videos in California. I think L.A. I want to say.
Smash and grab's been going on for damn near 10 years now. Now they're doing mass smash and grabs where like 10 cars will pull up. They'll all bust the windows at the liquor store, grab the shit. They're breaking into liquor stores, vape stores, and some other shit. It's three particular
Damn.
stores they've been cutting up on, especially in Memphis. Like Memphis, every liquor store in the city they've been broken into damn near. The ones that have open shit now, the ones in the hood they ain't going to because of course they know the shit's behind more glass and all of that. But these big little high end liquor store, they going in there getting all the Casamigos, all the good shit.
Well, I know they should have that the high end stuff locked up though.
Some stores they do, but shit, like I said, they smashing and grabbing.
Damn.
But you somehow like they may have some shit locked up, but then they'll still have a bottle or two out on display to let you know they have it.
Mm.
But yeah, they causing a lot of damage to windows, and they're keeping window makers in business. Now they're starting to see most of these businesses are starting to get like some polycarbonate windows that you can't break with. They damn near bulletproof. You can throw bricks in them, hit them with sledgehammers, and won't budge.
Oh yeah. Damn, people desperate out here in these streets.
That ain't desperation. That's laziness. And I can't even say it's laziness because they put a lot of thought into committing that crime and getting away and all. They put a lot of thought in it, so they're not really that lazy.
Yeah, because it's like a whole football team to be going in at one time.
Yep, that's the distraction. So it's hard to pinpoint one person. People don't want to go shopping anymore. Like, they might as well shut these
Right.
stores down.
Right. I shop online. I ain't gonna lie. I can't tell you the last time I've been to a mall. If I do go to the mall, I'll go right when they open.
It's been about a year since I walked in the mall.
Yeah, it'd be too much going on at the malls. Oh, she dropped
I
off
know E.
again.
Brooks was like, "You want to go to the mall?" I was like, "For what? I can buy that shit offline."
I used to stay in the malls, but now, mm-mm. You back, True? Nope.
That nigga left again.
Yep. She pops up and pops back down.
Mm. Do the huge brawls at the food court. I just don't mess with Marshalls and Ross. So
Oh,
people
here
fighting
they
back, throw
be
that
hitting
on
up
that
the
stupid shit.
Marshalls and Ross stores, especially the Ross stores.
Yeah, I be
I
seeing
don't
people
know
on
how Ross
YouTube
is still
finding
in
Jordans and
business.
shit in Ross.
I don't know how
Ross
Ross is
sick.
still in business.
Because all that shit they sell cheap as hell. That's why they not losing nothing.
No, Ross, they got some name brand stuff in there though, for real.
It's still cheap.
How's it cheap if it's name brand?
Spalding is a name brand. It's cheap.
I'm back. Damn it, I'm back.
About damn time.
I know
Now
that
you poppy.
I don't know.
You
Listen,
poppy. Snap, crackle, punch. Snap, crackle, pop.
I give up. I fucking give up.
Snap, crackle, pop.
Oh,
Cut the echo cancellation off. Snap, crackle, pop.
my God, today.
Now sing a song.
Okay, what about now?
Nope, still snap, crackle, pop.
What?
You
Oh,
just
God.
a little staticky.
I can't do the staticky. Why? Why? All right, what about now?
Same.
Damn it, man.
Sounded a little robotic.
No. Maybe because I threw my mic. I don't know. Y'all tell me when I'm gonna keep talking. Y'all tell me when I sound better.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just changing up some settings, y'all. I am just so sick of this. My God, today.
Maybe it's because you just came up underwater from, playing with the bottle.
I just came up from under the water. I did not. I told my shit shut down.
You mean you shut Tony down?
I ain't fucking with Tony. Tony is in the bag. I ain't even been. I've been trying to get this shit right.
I need Tony to blink twice if he okay.
No, he's fine. He's fine. Tell me, man. I don't understand why this shit be switching up on me like this. It's crazy. I don't be moving shit. I don't be doing shit. I might have popped my mic. I don't know, but this bitch going back because I've been having issues with it ever since I got it. Shit, it's ridiculous.
It might just be a lemon.
It might be, it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But this don't make sense. It doesn't. All right, okay, y'all. I'm gonna keep talking while I adjust this. So y'all make sure.
Yeah, because you still sound like you kind of underwater. Drew, did you hear when I said that I think that old Henry messed with that little girl when she was younger?
With Briasia?
Yep.
Really?
Think about it. He met the mom when Briasia was 2, and they was together for a couple of years or whatever. Think about it. He messed with a 5-year-old.
That's true.
I don't think it's his first time, messing with her.
You don't think so? Okay. So if you don't think it's his first time messing with her, and I know I probably still sound bad, y'all let me know when I sound okay. But listen, why would he unalive her?
Because
Now?
because when she was younger, she couldn't talk. And I don't believe he penetrated. I think he was fondling, messing with her.
Okay.
And this time he just went all the way. She's older now. She can talk.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why he took her out.
Okay, so what I sound like now?
The same.
Damn it, man. I don't know what to do, y'all. I swear.
Oh, you getting a little better.
Well, I mean, I don't understand why it even messed up. I'm not gonna do much talking anyway, but I wanted to get it right.
Main focus of the canvassing research.
Mostly listening to this stuff, but I still don't want to sound bad.
Hmm.
Let me see. I want to get through this stuff. Let me see. I just have to fix it later. I think I'm gonna take this mic back and give you another, or send it back and give me another. I think I am, cause I shouldn't be having these issues. I think it might solve the connection so become loose. I don't know what that means.
I think you
Hold
just
on.
got a limit.
I'm a, unplug it and plug it back. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, but I don't know if it's better or not.
Mm, not really, but we can hear you and understand what you're saying.
Just, yeah, I think I'm gonna just send it back and give me another one. So we're just gonna have to deal
Mm.
with it for today. Um, let's listen. I want to get through this video, y'all. We got like, oh my god, it done went all the way back. Hold on, damn it, man.
Beverly Impala.
Okay. Now, when you responded to the Walmart in Clinton, describe what occurred there. Okay. Could you see what those items were?
Yes.
What did Mr. Dinkins have in his grocery cart?
From what I could see, there was two bottles that were consistent with bleach.
Okay. Described, generally, did they occur in Scott County?
Yes.
As far as what's involved?
So his receipt shows at 7:10 at 3:34 a.m. Cashier Angel checked out 2
Y'all,
packs of
I don't
Newports.
know. I can't be. I'm
And there
not
was a
really
creep.
sure on where we stopped at. Um, what the hell is that? Who is eating? Try. Who eating?
I was on mute.
Phone, I'm losing my mind.
Oh, I know you are, because you now today in your title you spelled Henry Dinkle.
God, fun. No fun, no.
You got Dinkle.
Ah! Fun. I know you fucking love fun.
Well, at least you spelled Henry right today.
Oh my goodness. I think I need a vacation. What y'all think? I think I need a vacation. I do. I feel like going on.
What up, Juicy Kim?
I think I just Kim. I need a vacation. Just Kim. Y'all.
Henry
Oh, I'm
Dinkle.
sorry. I'm laughing at myself, y'all. I am laughing at myself.
I guess nobody else caught that.
I don't think nobody else catches it but you. I'm taking me a vacation, y'all. And y'all know how to just curse me. I'm taking me a vacation. I can't. I can't. I think I'm burned out. I think I'm
Go
burned
ahead,
out.
girl. Take you about a week off.
I think I am burnt out, y'all. Not Dinkle.
You got Dinkle, girl.
You should have called me fun.
I had put it in the chat earlier. I guess you didn't see it.
I did see it. I did. Oh God. Okay. All right. My sound still sound bad, huh?
Yep. And you
Okay.
can and you going in and out too.
Oh Lord. Okay. Hold on.
You done made Juicy Kim fall off the damn bush.
I sound all right. I don't know. Hold on, y'all.
You got that right, Juicy Kim. Up, she done fell off again. Luddy lud.
Okay, I don't know what I sound like, y'all, but
Oh, perfect.
really
Oh, wait a minute.
Just Kim. Just Kim.
Oh,
Just Kim.
dang, your static came back.
See, I don't know what it is, fun. I honestly don't know what it is. It's ridiculous. I don't. I can't.
I
It's
told you
getting
to stop
cold.
taking your devices up underwater with you.
I'm not. I need my device right here on the desk. I don't move it. I just shut it down and I go on about my day, and it does what it wants to do. I mean, I don't know what else to do. I think I'm gonna send this back. I think I'm gonna hold on. Let me see if I can change. What do I sound like now, phone?
Still staticky.
Yeah, I think it's this mic. I think I need another mic. I honestly do.
Yep.
Let's see. Okay, how about now?
Keep talking.
Is it sounding better? Because I'm kind of adjusting stuff on this mic.
No, I don't like it. It sound worse.
It got worse, really?
Yeah, it just sounds weird.
Okay, fine. God. How about now, phone?
Keep talking.
Okay, keep talking. What about now? Please tell me I sound at least a little better.
Yeah, a
So I
little
can
better,
just,
but you still hear the static.
that's so sad. I don't get it. Let me see. Did I come to echo? How about now, phone?
Keep talking.
Okay. Hey, man, Carla. Miss Carla, I think you've been here, though. I'm
Yeah,
back. It sounds.
yeah, but we can hear what you saying, but it's still staticky. Well, like Juicy Kim said, robotic.
That's fucked up. I'm gonna try one more thing, and then if not, I'm just gonna continue to play the video, and then I'm gonna go try to find me a mic today, actually, at Best Buy. I'm gonna send this back. See, this is why I don't do Amazon. I don't like Amazon. I don't. But
I
anywho,
think you just got a lemon.
maybe. So talk for a minute, phone, and let me try something. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, echo. It sounds staticky to me. But y'all hear an echo? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she is talking fast too. So what y'all got planned for this Saturday?
Okay, fine. I'm back. If it's bad, it's just gonna be bad. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
finish
it's
the show
still
and go.
still the same.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna play the audio. I'm not gonna do much talking since it's bad, and I do want to get Basically, close to something. But I'm just gonna play the audio, y'all. And I'm not gonna do a whole lot of talking. All right, so
Okay.
here we go. Let me bring it up. You know what? Still sound bad, fun. Still sound bad.
Now, right there is
No,
not as
right there, it's
bad.
not as bad.
It's getting better.
Get back. Okay. All right. Let me just play the audio.
Aurie. Last name Schussler would be spelled S, right there.
Did it have a video surveillance camera that was picking up activity there on Schmidt Road?
Yes, it was.
And then Devon's self-storage, or what you were describing as the building behind the volleyball factory, what would have been its location relative to the RV and Schmidt Road?
Yeah, so it would have been to the east of Schmidt Road and to the east of the camper you were talking about.
Did it have some type of camera affixed to the building that would pick up activity there in the parking lot where the RV was stored?
Yep, it had a camera on the exterior of the building that was shooting a view that would be westward.
Okay. Sarah Lowe's video camera, how was that activated? Was it a constant feed or motion activated?
Are you certain that hers was motion activated?
Are you sure about that?
I would have to check a report on it, to be honest.
That's okay, and then if we're not sure, that's all right, we'll just go ahead and we'll move on from that. And then as we focus on Schmidt Road, going further to the north, was there a business that would have picked up activity that would be of interest?
Other craft, Rich Metals,
All right, and for Purina, that's the one that I'm interested in, what's its address?
607 Schmidt Road.
Where would it be relative to the location of where the RV was parked?
It would have been north on Schmidt Road a little bit,
Okay, and is it on the east side or the west side of Schmidt Road?
east side of Schmidt Road.
How close then is Purina to Rockingham?
It's pretty close to it, just a little bit south of Rockingham.
Does Schmidt Road?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so River Drive, is that our furthest, our southernmost east-west street?
In that part of town, yes.
What would be our next east-west street? Just near
So-
Schmidt Road?
Yeah, so for Schmidt Road, it would be Rockingham.
Okay. And then, so what business are we going to be interested in there on Rockingham?
It would be on Rockingham. So there was a Hy-Vee 3019 Rockingham Road.
Okay.
It's at the corner of South Concord and Rockingham Road.
Was there activity picked up on Sarah Lowe? Alignment that was of interest?
Yes.
Was there activity picked up on Delbin's self-storage or conversely the volleyball factory that was of interest?
Yes.
Was there activity picked up on cameras at Purina that was of interest?
Yes.
And was there activity picked up at Hy-Vee that was of interest?
Yes.
All right. And then was all of that information directed to Detective Obert, who would have gone through, done a review, and also did an established timeline for events associated with those cameras?
Yep, so I went through that area, built a timeline, provided that to him so he could work that into the overall time.
We will do that through him.
Okay.
Did you have any additional involvement out at the site of the recovery?
I did.
What was the nature of your involvement out there?
I was brought out there at about 3:45 a.m. To take over on scene security until the morning when more resources were going to arrive to process the area.
Okay. With the discovery of Briasia's remains, who was the first law enforcement agency that was contacted?
I believe it was Clinton County.
Okay. Then did Clinton County respond right away to address that situation?
Yes.
Did they secure the crime scene?
Yes.
Explain what that means to secure a crime scene.
Often we put up a perimeter tape, like a yellow tape. We keep a physical presence there to make sure that that perimeter is not breached.
Okay. Was Clinton maintaining the initial security around the crime scene?
Yes.
Was Davenport notified of the discovery?
Yes.
Okay. Did officers from Davenport then go out to the area of Kunout Implement where the skeletal remains had been discovered?
They did.
Were you a part of then maintaining that security throughout the night?
At a later time, I wasn't there initially, but
Okay.
yes, I was involved later.
Does this task get handed off from one agency to another agency or from one officer to another officer?
Clinton County ends up transferring to our officers, and then a Davenport officer is who I switched out with. And then it remained us keeping the perimeter from there to the end.
Until the end, after
End of
everything had been
processing.
collected?
Yes.
And then did you, or was there a perimeter log, I should say a log that was put together to show who came and went into that scene from the point that it was identified as a scene until it was released?
Yeah, pretty common practice for us is we're going to, especially on major scenes like this. So yes, there was a log being kept.
Okay. Did that conclude your involvement in this matter?
I kept that log, and I was relieved from the log at about, I think it was 11 a.m. Yeah,
Okay.
11 a.m. And then I assisted with processing.
Okay. Describe your involvement in the processing of the scene.
So helped secure, or helped clear like larger brush, and it was like a rainy day, so we put some tarps up in tents to preserve the area that we were going to be working on. And then that basically filtered down to me working on removing smaller debris so we could gather as much evidence there as we could,
Okay.
bone or any other type of evidence.
Did a representative of the local medical examiner's office come out to the scene?
Yes, I believe so.
And then was there a representative associated with the state medical examiner's office that came out to the scene?
Yeah, like a forensic anthropologist.
Okay. Are you familiar with Dr. Heather Garvin?
Yes,
Who is Dr. Heather Garvin?
she was the forensic anthropologist that came to the scene.
Okay. Since you were dealing with skeletal remains, did that necessitate the need for an anthropologist?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
You may.
And then finally, we previously introduced what is State's Exhibit number 42. Okay. Take a moment to orient yourself.
I got a lot. From what I sound like, I took my mic off. I'm using the mic on the laptop. What I sound like?
You talking real fast.
No, I'm not. It's the damn computer.
At
Let me
least
go out.
the static is gone.
All right, I'm gonna go out and come back in on this laptop.
Okay, because now the static is gone.
Okay, what about now?
Great.
Yeah, it's the microphone, y'all.
Now you sound better.
I purchased a dub.
Yeah, I will send it back and get another one.
Oh, I'm gonna send it back and go to the store and get you one. I'm not ordering it. I'll just go to Best Buy. And I'll do that when I get out. Like, I can't. See, this is why I don't. Hey, I like her. Thanks for joining. How far in are we? Let's see. Where are we on at 9? Are we doing good? Okay, let's continue listening. Thank you for.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all hit that like button now. I think the capsule is popped in the mic. Oh, okay, yeah, it's going back. Excuse me, it's going back.
The truth, we can't hear nothing if you playing it. Money boy, can you hear me?
No, y'all can't
What'd you say?
hear the chat. They can't hear. I'm sharing it. I'm sorry, y'all.
Oh God, I can't understand what you saying, child.
Lord have mercy. I don't know if I need to make cakes for y'all. All right. Hold on. There we go. All right, y'all. I'm back. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Lala. All right, then.
So we had to pick through that slowly. Anything that we thought was possibly bone or something, we would consult the forensic anthropologist. She would identify whether it was or not. If it was bone, we would flag it. If it was some other kind of evidence, we would also flag it. And we just kind of like slowly kept at that process. And it was pretty time consuming.
All right. Define further the import of flagging a location of evidence, whether it be skeletal remains or any other items.
The significance of it?
Yeah, is that a part of an evidence collection process?
Yes, it is. So it also aids for when we like do photographs or scans to kind of indicate where items are.
Okay, now, are these flags placed out by each item of evidence?
A lot of, especially from the immediate area, if there was something that was a little further away, that would get a flag.
Okay, and are those flags numbered in any way?
I don't think all of them that we're using for bones were flagged, or sorry, numbered or lettered.
Okay, all right. Did that conclude your involvement in this matter?
Yes.
I have no further questions.
We'll start the cross-examination after our afternoon break. We'll be in adjournment for 15 minutes.
Fine.
Yes,
Fine.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You can hear. Check. I need y'all to let me know if y'all can hear now,
Yes.
so I can keep playing. Okay, good fun. All right, so they on break. Let me fast forward. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna get through this today. We're almost done on this video. Okay.
Okay, so would that
All right, there we go.
encompasses the Quad Cities? Or sorry, Davenport, Bettendorf, like this side of the Quad Cities?
Clinton County as well?
Yes.
Okay. And then as part of your canvassing efforts in July of 2020,
Yes.
okay, and on July 29th of 2020, Richard Braun actually executed a search warrant on a vehicle. It would have been a black Dodge Challenger. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I know what you're referring to.
Okay. And on July 29th of 2020, you actually received evidence that was produced from that Dodge Black Challenger,
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
That evidence would have been two white T-shirts that had stains on them that resembled blood stains, correct?
Correct.
Are you aware whether those two T-shirts were ever tested for DNA?
Yes, I am aware.
Okay. Are you aware whether those two T-shirts were compared to the known DNA of Berasia Terrell?
And the request that I completed when I was asked to do it was, yes, I was asked to compare to that.
Okay. And were those tests ever completed?
Yes, they were.
Okay. Did you ever scratch that? Were those two T-shirts ever tested for DNA that was compared to Henry Dinkin's DNA?
Yes, that was requested.
Okay. But was it him?
No.
Are you aware of the results of that?
I am. I don't have them with me. I'm
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Detective Poyer, to put things in perspective, around the timeframe of July 29th of 2020, did Clinton County have its own murder investigation that was going on?
So most of the conversation that took place regarding these evidence items was between Rick Ron and Sergeant Pfeiffer. I was asked to put these items into evidence and later asked to complete these requests. Going in the Clinton area with DCI, that is what these were produced from.
Sure. Now, what was the reason that Detective Ron even brought these two white T-shirts to the table in this investigation, if you know?
Because there was stains on it that he thought were possibly consistent with blood, and they were consistent with like clothing that had been discussed in our investigation.
Okay. What type of top was Briasia described as wearing when she went to bed at the Culberson Dinkins apartment on July 9th, going into the early morning hours of July 10th?
A white T-shirt.
Okay. And was that an adult size? Whose T-shirt was that?
I'm not certain on that.
Okay. Was it an extremely large adult size T-shirt, if you have a recollection about that?
Yes, it was large, and I believe it was a T-shirt of Henry Dinkins.
Okay, and then the shirts in question that Special Agent Ron had seized, were these adult-sized T-shirts or a child's T-shirt?
Let me double check.
Sure, absolutely.
So I have that one was a Hanes crew style white medium T-shirt. The other one was a white children's white tank top medium.
Did both of those go to the DCI lab for testing?
Yes.
In the course of this investigation, was Henry Dinkins' DNA collected?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and was a request made by the DCI to compare his DNA to any potential DNA that was developed from those T-shirts?
Yes, it was.
And then by virtue of that process, was it determined that blood was not, it did not have his DNA?
Yes.
Okay. Just to take this a step further, was this just an example of law enforcement covering every base to make sure that there was no stone unturned?
What was conveyed to me with Clinton being in common and the clothing, Rick Ron thought it was too important to just ignore.
Okay, and so then it was followed up on, correct?
Yes.
At the end of the day, was it determined that that had no relevance to this investigation?
No relevance.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Mr. Waters.
And just to be clear, the investigation we're talking about in Clinton County, involving the search warrant on that black Dodge Challenger, was an investigation involving the abduction of a small child, correct?
Was it an abduction of a small child?
The investigation involved the abduction of a small child, right?
I don't know that for sure. I thought it was a homicide investigation, but I don't know that.
Okay, that's all I have.
And Detective Poyer, if I could, was it your understanding that it was a homicide investigation?
That was what I remember being conveyed to me.
Sure. And then in the context of that, the suspects or suspect in that particular investigation, did that individual have some type of relationship to the child involved?
Not that we were able to determine.
Okay. Did you know anything about?
On that, so
Sure.
I don't know that.
But it was a homicide investigation, correct?
From what I was informed.
That was killed in the area that Briasia Terrell was found at that time.
I don't have knowledge of that. I don't know that.
Okay, thank you.
Anything on that, Ms. Cunningham?
Yes. Was this a Clinton County investigation?
Yes, DCI was working on an investigation in Clinton County.
Okay. Were you given any information that it was had any association to the location where we recovered Briasia's remains?
I don't know any details about that case other
Sure.
than these evidence items.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
You may step down. Ms. Adama.
Thank you. The state would call Christine Baker.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please have a seat.
Can you please state and spell your name? Christine Baker, Christine Baker, And how are you currently employed?
I'm a real estate agent and I'm a transaction coordinator with a law firm.
Now, back in July of 2020, how were you employed at that time?
I was a civilian crime scene technician for the Davenport Police Department.
And back in July of 2020, did you have a different last name?
Yes, I did.
What was your last name at that time?
Stobaugh, spelled Stobaugh.
What were your duties as a civilian crime scene tech with the Davenport Police Department?
I responded to various crime scenes and I was the one that would take the photos and collect evidence, and then we also processed evidence back in the lab.
Can you describe your educational background and any training that you would have received for that position?
Yes, I graduated from the University of Wisconsin-Platteville with a bachelor's degree in forensic investigation and a minor in criminal justice. And then I moved to California for my first job, where I was a forensic services technician with the Westminster Police Department. And then I moved to Houston about a year later. I was with the Houston Forensic Science Center for 3.5 years, where I primarily worked major crime scenes. And then I moved back home to Iowa to work with the Davenport Police Department and do the crime scene technician work.
How long in total were you employed with the Davenport Police Department?
3 years.
And did you work as a civilian crime scene tech that entire time?
Yes.
Ms. Baker, when you were dispatched to a potential crime scene, did you follow a general process to document or collect evidence?
Yes.
Can you explain what that process would be?
So I will show up to a scene and I'll be briefed generally on why I'm there. And then I usually do an initial walkthrough, and then I will start taking photographs and placing evidence markers, searching the scene, and collecting evidence.
When you say you do a kind of general walkthrough, what's the point of that?
So I can get a feel of what we're looking at initially. So the initial scene when I arrive. So nothing has been, from me first being there, my first photos that I take will be what I see when I get there.
And when you start taking those overall photographs, do you follow, again, a general process for that?
Yes.
And what's that process?
I mostly just try to walk someone through whatever scene I'm at. So if it's outside, inside, I try to walk them through with my photos what the area looks like.
And generally speaking then, do you start sort of broadly with your photographs, and then if there are items of interest that you want to document further, you then would take closer photographs of those items up until that point where then that item would be collected?
Yes.
Now, back on July 10th of 2020, were you dispatched to 2744 53rd Street, apartment number 8 in Davenport, Iowa?
Yes.
Why were you dispatched to that apartment?
I was told that a girl was missing.
Once you arrived at that location, were you again generally briefed on the situation?
Yes.
And was that information provided to you that you then utilized in your process of documenting that scene?
Yes.
What information was shared to you when you first arrived?
So when we get information initially, we want it to be very broad. So I knew there was a girl that was about 10 years old that had last been seen in the early morning hours. And that's pretty much what I had to operate on.
And did you know why apartment number 8, why that was the apartment you were being requested to take photographs of?
That's where she was last seen.
Now, when you first arrived at that apartment, what was your understanding of kind of law enforcement involvement at that point?
I know detectives were questioning people, trying to figure out, was there anywhere she would have gone? We were just operating as if we were looking for a 10-year-old girl.
Had any searches been done by law enforcement of that apartment prior to your arrival?
I don't know.
While you were on scene, did officers then begin to search more thoroughly that apartment?
Yes.
But prior to any of that searching, would you have gone through and documented things as you first saw them?
Yes.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
So I'm handing what's been marked as State's Exhibits 5-1 through 597. Do you recognize these exhibits?
Yes.
And what are State's Exhibits 51 through 97?
Various photos.
Look overall what photos and then items that you found in specific locations of the program.
Yes.
At this time, Your Honor, the state would offer Exhibit 51 through 97 into evidence.
No objection.
Those exhibits will be admitted.
And may the state publish some of these, Your Honor?
You may.
Showing you first what's been labeled as 5-1, kind of walk us through what we're looking at in this photograph.
That is the front door to the apartment.
And then in 5-2, see that the door has been open. What do we look at here?
That's the entryway and the stairway leading up to the main area of the apartment.
So this is 5-3. As you walk up the stairs and sort of turn, would this be the view then at that point in time?
Yes, at the top of the landing at the stairs.
So what's being depicted then in State's Exhibit 5-3?
The living room and part of the kitchen.
And do you recall the living room there? There's a window. Does that window face east towards Costco?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 5-4. What's being shown here? 5-5.
And I'm facing into the living room.
And does there appear to be an air mattress on the floor of that living room?
Yes.
This is State's Exhibit 5-8. Where was this photograph taken?
I'm standing on the other side of the living room facing back toward the stairs where I was standing in the previous photo.
This is State's Exhibit 5-9. Again, what is being shown here?
I'm standing in the same spot. I'm facing towards the kitchen.
And there's a door that appears to be open in that in the back of this photograph. What room is that?
That's the bedroom.
This is State's Exhibit 5-12. What's being depicted here?
The living room going into the kitchen.
Now, I want to draw your attention specifically to what appears to be a stack of plastic water bottles right by the door to the bedroom. Do you observe that?
Yes.
Again, was that how you found that particular area when you're taking photographs?
Yes.
There's no bottle of bleach or Clorox that was present on top of the bottles at that time?
No.
Now, this is Exhibit 5-15. Where are we now in the apartment?
I'm standing in the doorway of the bedroom.
And what all can you observe from this angle of the photograph?
You see the bed, a closet door, and then some electronics on the right-hand side.
Do you recall if this bedroom had more than one closet?
Yes, it did.
Do you know which closet's being depicted in this photograph?
The north closet.
This is State's Exhibit 5-16. What's being shown here?
I have kind of turned in the bedroom, so now I'm facing kind of southwest, so that's the south closet door.
And to the left portion of this photograph, there appears to be another door that's open. Do you recall what that room would be?
That led into the bathroom.
This is State's Exhibit 5-17. What is this here?
I'm standing next to the north closet, facing back, kind of out towards the other side of the bedroom.
And does there appear to be a computer monitor or workstation set up there in the corner of that bedroom?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 5-18. This is just another angle showing the entrance to the bathroom.
Yes.
Does it appear, or from your own memory, was the only way to enter the bathroom to walk through this bedroom?
Yes.
Now, at some point, did you begin documenting the closets in that bedroom as well?
Yes.
Showing you State's Exhibit 5-23. Do you recall which closet this photograph would have been taken of?
That's the north closet.
And State's Exhibit 524, more of the north closet.
Correct.
And State's Exhibit 525, again, just more of the north closet.
Yes.
Were you provided any information about whose closet or who primarily used this closet in that bedroom?
No one told me, no.
Did it appear to have mostly clothing a male would wear?
Yes.
And this is State's 527. Would this be the south closet then?
Yes.
And 528, is this when you just would start documenting the south closet?
Yes.
And 529, more photos of the south closet.
Correct.
Showing you then State's Exhibit 532. What's being shown in this photograph here?
That is some clothing that was laid out on the bed.
And was that clothing already on the bed when you first walked into the bedroom?
I believe it was bundled up on the corner of the bed.
Now, did you document this clothing further, including the sizes and that type of thing?
I believe so, yes.
And did they all appear to be adult-sized clothing?
Yes.
Showing you then State's 534. One thing I would like to just point out is obviously some of the earlier pictures of the bed appear to be made. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Now in State's Exhibit 534, text gloves.
Yes.
And then State's Exhibit 536. What's being shown here?
A close-up of how the pistol was situated under the bed, or under the mattress.
Maybe better do that. Now, do you recall if there were other items located underneath the mattress in this residence?
Yes, there was.
Showing you State's Exhibit 537. What are we being shown here?
We've lifted up the mattress and those items were sitting like that underneath the mattress.
And what are these items?
There's the pistol that I was taking photos of before, and then a small, looks like a kitchen knife, and then a larger machete type knife.
This is State's Exhibit 539. Is this that same machete we just saw in the last photo, just taken out of the sheath?
Yes.
This is State's Exhibit 542.
I believe was right outside the bedroom
And
or in a closet.
in the south closet?
Closet, yeah.
Can you sort of see the bed still on the left-hand side of the photo?
Yes.
What were you capturing here?
The items on the floor and then another machete type knife in a sheath.
Showing you State's Exhibit 550. What appears to be in this photograph?
It's a close-up of the pistol that was under the mattress.
And then in 552, what are we being shown here?
I have removed the magazine from the pistol, and then the cartridge at the top of the photo was the one in the chamber of the firearm.
And then 553, again, is that a close-up of that same chamber that was removed from the firearm?
Yes.
And then what is also being depicted in this photograph?
The magazine that was in the pistol with a cartridge loaded into it.
And do you recall how many cartridges were in that magazine?
Just the one.
Showing you the State's Exhibit 555. What's being depicted here?
A close-up of the head stamp on the cartridge from the chamber.
And are you able to is read any of the markers on that particular cartridge?
It's an RP 9mm Luger.
And is that just a type of ammunition?
Yes.
This is State's Exhibit 560. What are we looking at here?
It's an Iowa identification card for Henry Dinkins.
And that was located as well during the search?
Yes.
Now, going back to the search of that south closet, so State's Exhibit 562. Looks upside down. What were you photographing here?
An intermediate or mid-range photo of a box of ammo in that bag.
This is State's Exhibit 563. Is this a close-up of that same ammunition, box of ammunition?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 564. And what was being photographed here?
That's the side of the box showing what caliber the ammunition was.
And it appears to be 9mm Luger.
Yes.
And then in State's Exhibit 565, what's being shown here?
That's all the ammo that was in the box.
One of the bullets appears to be flipped. Do you know who did that?
Yes, I did that to show the top of that ammunition.
And so with the finding of this particular box of ammunition, you know that there are 2 bullets that appear to be missing from this box?
Yes,
Yet there were 2 bullets found, one inside the chamber of that gun and one in the magazine, correct?
correct.
And did those bullets appear consistent with the bullets in this box?
Yes.
Showing you State's Exhibit 567. What are we being shown here?
A pair of pink sunglasses that was sitting on top of that half wall in between the kitchen and living room.
And what was the purpose of photographing these sunglasses?
They appeared to belong to a girl.
Were they smaller in size?
Yes.
And then back to that south closet in the bedroom, State's Exhibit 568. What's being photographed here?
An intermediate photo of what I believe was an airsoft gun in the shoebox.
Again, this is 569. What's being shown here?
A closer photo of that same airsoft gun.
This is State's Exhibit 571. What's in this photograph?
A box of SCCY ammunition.
And in the prior photograph of the airsoft gun, State's 569, was that airsoft gun on top of this box?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 573, what's in this exhibit?
That's the interior of that box. I misspoke. It wasn't an ammunition box. It was a gun box.
And what appears to be inside that box?
A plastic bag containing a couple base plates, an empty magazine, and a couple keys.
So State's Exhibit 574, what are we being shown here?
An intermediate photo of that desk area in the bedroom with some electronics on it.
And does there appear to be a cell phone plugged in, at least in this photograph?
Yes.
And then State's Exhibit 577, what's being shown here?
It's in the living room. We just opened that closet to see, you can see the water heater or whatever's in there.
And was there anything of any value found in that utility closet?
I don't believe so.
This is State's Exhibit 583. This is obviously a window. Do you recall which window this would have been in the apartment?
I believe it's the window above the bed in the bedroom.
And though it may be a little hard to see, but through the blinds, what would you be looking at then?
The parking lot of the apartment complex.
In State's Exhibit 584, what's being shown there?
I'm photographing the lock on the window.
And does the window appear to be locked?
I don't recall if up or down was the locked position.
But that was the purpose of documenting that.
Correct.
This is State's Exhibit 587. What are we being shown here?
The exterior of the apartment on the same side as Costco, so that east side of the apartment.
And then 588, what's being shown here?
Again, the east side of the apartment, exterior.
And again, that apartment is a second story apartment.
Correct.
So this photograph would capture the distance from that window to the ground.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 589, what's being shown here?
The window in the living room.
And this is State's 591, what's being shown here?
Again, showing where the lock was on the window.
This is State's Exhibit 594. What's in this photograph?
It's a kind of mid-range close-up of a white t-shirt.
And was this t-shirt located in the bedroom?
Yes.
This is State's Exhibit 595. Is that a close-up of the tag of that t-shirt?
Yes.
And what size does that t-shirt appear to be?
5XL.
And then State's Exhibit 596. What's being depicted here?
A pair of gloves that were also found in the bedroom.
Now, in addition to photographing several items and overall photos taken throughout that apartment, were there several items that were collected as well?
Yes.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm going to show you first what's been marked as State's Exhibit 69. What is State's Exhibit 69?
The black and blue machete.
And was that an item that was located in that apartment on July 10th, 2020 that you would have documented in the photos we just went through?
I don't think this is the right one. This was collected by
That's on a different date.
a different date. Okay.
That's when it was returned from the FBI.
Gotcha. Okay. Yes.
So based on the description then on the label, the black and blue machete,
Yes.
was that the item you would have collected then on July 10th, 2020?
Yes.
At this time, Your Honor, the state would offer Exhibit 69 into evidence.
No objection.
Exhibit 69 will be admitted.
Also then going to show you State's Exhibits 70, 71, and 72. Do you recognize these items?
Yes.
Okay, starting with Exhibit 70. What is that item?
The small kitchen knife from underneath the mattress.
And Exhibit 71, what is that item?
The pink camouflage pistol that was underneath the mattress.
And 72.
The pistol box that was in the closet.
And were all of these items then collected by you on July 10th from the same apartment and kept in the care and custody and control of the Davenport Police Department?
Yes.
At this time, Your Honor, we would offer Exhibits 70, 71, and 72 into evidence.
No objection.
Those exhibits will be admitted into evidence.
Now, Ms. Baker, while you were at this apartment on July 10th, at some point were you asked to photograph a black Camaro?
Yes.
Do you recall who asked you to photograph that Camaro?
I don't.
Would it have been a detective or somebody on scene?
Yes.
And do you know why you were asked to photograph the black Camaro?
I was advised that it belonged to someone that lived in the apartment.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
handing you what's been marked as State's Exhibits 13-1 through 13-11. Do you recognize those exhibits?
Yes.
And what is being depicted in 13-1 through 11?
Photos of the black Camaro.
And were these photographs that you would have taken on July 10th, and are they fair and accurate of what you observed at that time?
Yes.
The state would offer exhibits 13-1 through 13-11 into evidence.
No objection.
Those exhibits will be admitted.
You may publish your own.
You may.
So showing you State's Exhibit 13-1. Again, what are we being shown here?
An overall of the front of the black Camaro.
Now, when you were taking photographs of the Camaro, what was the purpose of that at that point in time?
At that point, just to make sure Briasia wasn't in the vehicle.
So this is State's Exhibit 13-3. Again, what's being shown here?
The exterior passenger side of the vehicle.
At some point then, was the vehicle opened and photographs taken of the inside?
Yes.
Was Briasia located inside the vehicle?
No.
Was there any additional testing or anything noted by you of significant value at that point in time?
Not at that time, no.
Was the purpose of anything you were doing at that point to try to identify any potential evidence or anything like that?
No.
To your knowledge, was that vehicle later seized and search warrants would have been executed at that point?
Yes.
Now, also on July 10th, at some point were you directed to 2 bags of clothing that would have been provided to the Davenport Police Department?
Yes.
And what was your understanding of what these bags of clothing were?
I understood they were just the kids' clothes, dirty and clean, separated out.
Do you recall where you would have taken those photographs?
I believe I took them in the parking lot.
So at some point, the bags had been either brought to that parking lot?
Yes.
May I approach your honor?
You may.
Ms. Baker, I'm handing you State's Exhibits 14-1 through 36. Do you recognize those exhibits?
Yes.
And what are these exhibits?
Photos of the clothing that were in those bags.
And do these photographs fairly and accurately depict the clothing in the bags that you would have photographed on July 10th, 2020?
Yes.
This time, Your Honor, the state offers 14-1 through.
Those exhibits will be admitted.
So showing you then first, 14-1. What are we looking at here?
And the interior of a Disney bag with clothes inside.
Now, while you were handling these bags, were you wearing gloves?
Yes.
And after taking photographs of the bags, did you then take out each individual item and take photographs of those specific items as well?
Yes.
Now, you mentioned that some of the bags appeared to have clean clothes in them and some appeared to have dirty clothes in them. Is that fair?
Yes.
So it's showing you State's Exhibit 1424. Is that the second bag of clothing?
Yes.
And do you recall which bag appeared to have clean clothes versus the dirty clothes?
I don't.
Did the items of clothing appear to be both belong to a female and a male?
Yes.
Were they children's clothing?
Yes.
And at the time that you photographed these items, did you then collect them and take them into evidence as well?
Yes, I did.
Did you do any sort of further processing or testing of the clothing, these specific items throughout this investigation?
No.
Now, when you would have taken these items into evidence, what would you have done with them?
I would have brought them back to the police department with me, and they would have been placed into an evidence bag and put through a pass-through to the property and evidence room.
And is that what you would have done with all of the items that you would have seized from this particular location?
All of them except the ones that I processed would have been placed into my secure locker at our workstations.
And do you recall what items you would have specifically processed?
I processed items 13 through 15, item 20, 21, and 23.
Now, we don't have that list in front of us. What specific items are you referring to?
The black and blue machete, the box of ammunition, the pistol box from the closet, and the pink sunglasses from the kitchen banister.
And what type of further processing would you have done on those items?
I took some DNA swabs and processed for latent fingerprints.
Did you locate any fingerprints on any of those items that would have been suitable for identification?
I believe so.
Which items did you note fingerprints on?
I lifted 2 latent fingerprints from the pink sunglasses, and then I photographed 6 areas of ridge detail on items 20 and 21.
So after locating those fingerprints and documenting them the way that you did, what would you have done with those items?
The latent fingerprint cards would have been placed in an envelope and given. Photographs of the ridge detail would have been placed on a DVD, and then that DVD would have been given to property and evidence.
Now, from there, do you decide what further processing happens with your findings?
No.
To your knowledge, was anything done with those specific findings?
I don't know.
Is it typical that you don't always know what happens further with the investigatory steps in these types of cases?
Yes, it's typical that I don't know.
All right, thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Mr. Waters?
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So essentially, you've testified that on July 10th, 2020, you show up at this Jersey Meadow apartment, and then you take, hundreds of pictures, essentially,
Yes.
right? And then, can you tell me or remind me what time you got to the Jersey Meadow apartment on July 10th, 2020?
I got there at 13:11 hours, so 1:11 p.m.
Okay, and then remind me, I think you stated in your previous testimony that you were unaware whether anybody from the police department or any other law enforcement agency had already been there.
I was unaware if they had started a search yet. I assumed they cleared the apartment, which is typical, but I didn't know if they had searched anything yet.
Okay. Are you aware whether anybody had already been in the building from the police department?
I assume they cleared the apartment to make sure it was safe for everyone to go in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I want to talk about this gun that you found. You didn't do the processing or collection of that gun, right? All you did was just take the picture of it, or did you process and collect it?
I collected and processed it for DNA and prints.
Okay. So you lifted prints off of it, or did you not?
I did not locate any prints on that item.
Okay. And then is it uncommon for people in these sort of crime scenes to keep firearms under their beds?
Is it uncommon?
Is it uncommon?
No.
Is it uncommon to keep any sort of weapon under somebody's bed?
No, it's not.
So typically when you arrive at these sort of crime scenes or these places where you're executing a search warrant, it's typical to find guns or other sorts of weapons under mattresses, under beds.
Yes.
Okay. Now that ammunition that you took a picture of, is that the only ammunition that was found in that apartment?
I believe so, other than the 2 that were in the pistol.
Okay, so there wouldn't have been any 38 special ammunition?
I don't believe so.
Any
Not when I was
Winchester?
there.
Okay, no Winchester ammunition?
No.
And then no other firearm found other than the BB or whatever it was?
Correct.
Okay. notice any, as you were walking around and you're taking pictures, did you notice any blood stains or what appeared to be blood stains around this apartment?
I did not.
Anything with any sort of splatter?
No,
Did you smell any bleach?
I did not.
Did you find any bleach?
Not that I recall.
Didn't take pictures of any bleach in that apartment?
Not that I recall.
To the Davenport Police Department
Yes.
or any other? Other than those few.
Other than which ones?
I think you named about 3 or 4.
So those are the ones specifically that I named that I processed. I collected several others also.
Okay. Did you, the ones that you processed, the latent prints, other than those that we've already mentioned, you collected several items, right?
Correct.
But didn't process or test any of those items?
Correct.
That would have been somebody else's job.
Correct.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Ms. O'Donnell.
Just briefly, Your Honor. Ms. Baker, is it common to find multiple weapons underneath a mattress in someone's room?
No.
Now, you didn't take any photographs of items inside of like the kitchen cabinets or anything like that.
No.
The specific items you photographed, were those items located by detectives during? But again, you weren't directed to anything specific in any of the kitchen cabinets or bathroom cabinets or anything like that.
No.
I don't have any further questions.
Nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you. You may step down. Before we adjourn for the day, I believe I still need to make a record of our bench conference concerning the receipt from Walmart, if I'm correct. I would like to make a record of that. There's a discussion of that. The defense made an objection to the receipt. Court has now been presented with a stipulation. And I assume that this will be uploaded in the case. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. That was a stipulation that was drawn up by defense counsel, which would set the parameters of the understanding between the parties. And then I would assume that Mr. Freeze will upload that, or we can upload it for him, whatever they prefer. And then in addition, Your Honor, pursuant to the bench conference, the state has contacted Matt Gahant. Originally, we had thought that he would not need to appear based on that stipulation, but with further discussion, we have contacted him and he will be coming in.
Essentially, then the court granted the objection or sustained the objection by the defense counsel, and that is correct. Directed the state that if they wish to introduce that, they would have to lay that proper foundation with that witness for that receipt. Also, it's in the stipulation is essentially recognizing there are certain individuals that had employers or homeowners that had video systems in their homes. They will not be required to be called to provide that foundation evidence. Is that correct, Mr. Freeze?
Correct.
And is that a fair summary of the bench conference?
It is.
And you would agree also, Ms. Cunningham?
I would, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. We'll be adjourned at this time. We'll reconvene at 9 o'clock. Thank you.
Thanks, Judge.
All right, y'all. So we got to do day 5. That was day 5, y'all. That was day 5. But you got anything on that chat? I don't know what my brother wants. No, son don't have anything either. She don't need. Can y'all hear me? I'm just making sure because you know I mute my mic, so I'm just trying to make sure y'all can hear me before I get out of here. My 2 co-ops is on me. Can y'all hear me in the chat? Let me know. Let me know. I don't see you talking to see. Okay, be sure. Thank you, Mr. Lou. Thank you. Talk to myself, y'all. Anyway, we're gonna get off here, y'all. We gotta do day 5 tomorrow. I'll be on tomorrow morning to start with day 6. I'll be back later on tonight. I don't know if it's 7 or 8. It's one of them. But I got some things to do before I come back later. So I'll see y'all later. I hope y'all have a blessed, beautiful Saturday. I appreciate everyone that's support this commentary. I can't say that enough. Thank y'all so much for joining me. If you didn't hit the like button, hit on the way out, please. All right. And I'm skipping. I'm gonna get off here, Miss Carla. It don't even matter because I got to go get me another mic, girl. But thank you, Miss Carla. All right, y'all be blessed, okay? Y'all be safe, be blessed, and have strength. And I'll see y'all later on, okay? Thank y'all so much. Okay, thank you for having me. Okay, baby. All right, thanks for joining, fun. Thank you, my boy. We out here, y'all. I'm gonna try to get myself together, cause y'all know going out shopping. I mean, be safe, be careful, okay? And I'll see y'all later on tonight. All right, love y'all.
Way back now, access my regular. I'm talking things for better now. Oh, things for better now. Way back now, access my regular. I'm talking things for better now. Oh, Says my regular, I'm talking things for better now. Oh, things for better now. Oh, way back now. Says my regular, I'm talking things for better now. Oh, things for better Says my regular, I'm talking things for better now. Oh, things for better now. Oh, way back now. Says my regular, I'm talking things for better now. Oh, Says my regular, I'm talking things for better now. Oh, It's my regular talking.